Hello and welcome to Golden Dongle, quest for the Golden Dongle. My name is Ivy, my pronouns are she, her, and I am joined here by Jorge the Magnificent.
Jorge the Magnificent.
He's
My pro-
magnifico
I am
and
Magnifico. My pronouns are he,
fantastico.
him, and I am Fantastico.
Yes. So it's been
Hello.
it's been a lifetime. If
I
it
know.
feels since the end of the world occurred, and we have our new
God damn it.
yes, since the end of the world with the US elections, which we will keep discussion at a minimum about. Just because
As much as we're gonna try, but we're gonna fail.
we are going to
Uh,
fail. It just the problem is it's like I don't want to waste any energy on it because it's kind of like, well,
True.
we're already here. this is where society has landed us, and we have to deal with it now. And that's that. And bitching and hitting your head against the wall isn't going to do anything.
Oh.
But other than that little sour note, um, I think that I have been lacking in energy, so I haven't been able to do any new episodes, and my editing skills have kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of our videos. They kind of suck. So I'm
No.
sorry, everyone. I kind of gave up. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh
We're
no.
gonna find new ways to simplify the process, like for
Value
example,
your work for what it's
using
worth.
what?
Uh, I value your work for what it's worth. I
Thank
don't. I
you.
don't care if it's good or bad. I
All
think.
right. Okay.
All I know is that I appreciate what you do.
As long as you're cool with it, then I'll just continue to fuck up. Um, yeah.
Hey,
So
listen, the one person I know who listens to this show says it's all right. So,
it's all right. Oh, what'd you think of the episode? It's all right.
I mean, that's how we're keeping it here. So I have no complaints.
Yeah. Wow. So much has happened in such a little amount of time. I've just been completely exhausted. I don't know about you, but it's like just the state of the world and everything. I haven't had the energy to do a new episode. Or I know said we were going to do There Will Be Blood for this episode, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But if it is, we'll talk about it. I don't know, maybe offhandedly.
I think that we can, since we took an extended break, we can make this a catch up episode, and then the whenever we do There Will Be Blood, we'll just
Right.
do it. And I think going forward, maybe we shouldn't announce what episode is going to be next, so that
We
in
shouldn't.
case
So you're
we
saying we shouldn't shoot ourselves in the foot?
correct,
We should just.
because
We should
anything could
just.
happen. Yeah.
Okay. So no shooting ourselves in the foot, and we should just take pictures of Jill's feet. Is what you're saying? Per our
I,
discussion
I
last episode.
I don't know when I said that, but I guess so.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
we're learning new things about ourselves here at Golden Dongle. Quest for the Golden Dongle. Um. Yeah.
Every day.
And what?
Every day we learn.
We will learn a little bit more about ourselves, and it's a little bit more deranged. Um, so yeah, like I think I've been kind of in a mode where I'm not only drained, but like I guess recently I was watching The Sopranos season 4, and I told you this, Jorge.
Oh, yeah,
Remember we were talking about it briefly during the week.
yeah.
So I'm towards the end of season 4, and like, okay, I have this weird evolving opinion of The Sopranos. I've watched it many times, so just for the Sopranos fans out there, it's not like I've only watched a few episodes. Like I've seen the whole series at least 3 times. Um, and there's people
Wow.
who have watched it way more than that. Um,
I think I watched it twice now.
yeah, you said you watched it with your wife, right?
Yeah, yeah. Once by myself, and then I'm like, oh, this show's
Mm-hmm.
good, so I gotta show Margot. So we watched it
Yeah,
together.
and so my opinion continues to evolve about this show. I guess I do go to it as a comfort watch. I think that's
Yeah.
why I kind of started watching season 4 recently. Well, I think I had been kind of doing a rewatch up to that point, like seasons 1, 2, and 3. And then I
Hmm.
jumped back in. I'm like, all right, let's start season 4. I skipped some episodes in season 3. Um, yeah, so it's become a comfort watch, I think. I don't know if it's that way for you.
It sure was like
Yeah,
it's got the it's a TV show with like very movie pacing. I want to say like
right.
it really does take its time to work things out every episode. I remember listening to the Talking Sopranos podcasts, and they were like, yeah, there's a formula to every episode. There's like a plot, B plot, and C
Mm-hmm.
plot going on at any given time. Rarely do you ever get just like two, like an A and B.
Right,
But because every episode is 1 hour and every season is like I want to say 13 episodes, with the exception of the last one, uh, they have the time to like really flesh things out. So the show ends up having like a very good and comfortable pacing to it,
right.
which is how I feel. It does have its that like comfort, you know.
Yeah,
Even though some episodes are heavy, so
sure.
you
There,
can't always just casually watch The Sopranos.
yeah, I mean, there's a point when you can't just like put on the murder episodes
No,
and be
yeah,
cool, because it's gonna take an emotional toll on you.
yeah,
For the
yeah,
most
and
part.
even some subjects, even some of the like non-violent subjects, because I remember
Yeah,
some of the episodes with Tony and his mom like actually do hit me a
they're
little too
rough.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
she's very abusive, and as
yeah, yeah.
somebody who has had an abusive parent, I do feel that it resonates with
Yes,
me.
it does. I'm not gonna say I had abusive parents, but I've had.
Oh, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, buddy.
I'm gonna say that there have been
For
times
me.
where like my parents have been manipulative, and those moments
Yeah.
are on full. This like I can tell David Chase went through this too, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, because they
oh,
said,
this is hitting a
oh,
little too close to home.
right. And funny that you bring up David Chase. I actually did watch the Sopranos documentary on HBO that
Oh,
just
me
came
too.
out. It was good, right?
It was all right. I thought it
What do you
was
mean it was all
okay.
right? What's wrong with you? The fuck is wrong with you? Tell me
Well,
why
how
it was all
about you
right
go
now.
first?
No, you
No,
screwed
you
up.
go
Tell me
first.
why it was all right. You
I
fucked
guess it's
up.
like
You have fucked up.
I,
Tell me why it was all right.
all right. I'm on blast now. I thought it was okay. I guess a lot of it like I already knew.
Okay.
As far as like the trivia went, as far as
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
the history of the show, because like I really like the companion podcast that they recorded like years later, the
Right.
Talking Sopranos. And it's in fact what made me want to do podcasting. In fun fact, but like
Mm-hmm.
that those episodes are such a treasure trove of like Sopranos trivia and knowledge.
Sure.
And I felt like the documentary, even though it was like well made, even though it was really cool to hear it from the man himself, a lot of it is like stuff that I already kind of knew from just like
Just reading
being
interview.
exposed to.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've
Yeah,
read interviews with David Chase and all
yeah,
the,
yeah,
because The Sopranos has been out for years. So if they made this
yeah. It
documentary in
has.
2007, it's like you could have had James Gandolfini on there. You could have had,
Right, right, and that there, it's always like it's always gonna be incomplete because James is not around
sure,
anymore, and
it's
like other
unfortunate.
actors have passed away since then, and
Tony
we're
Sirico.
only gonna get like we're only gonna get like David Chase's side of the story in those respects. We with testimony from like other
Yeah.
actors too, which was nice to see like some of the cast returning for the documentary, especially Edie Falco. Uh,
Oh, yeah, she's great.
and yeah, yeah, and by the end of it, I guess spoilers of the documentary.
Mm
They do this like, in my opinion, kind of a crappy tease
hmm.
where they like cut it off at the end just like they do
Oh, you
the
didn't like
final
that?
season. I didn't like that. I was like, oh come on, this again,
This
like
is cheesy. This is stupid. They didn't know how
like
to end it.
and full disclosure, I actually love the ending
Sure.
of The Sopranos.
It's
I
fitting.
I think it's brilliant. I think because there is no way to end this show like that'll meet your expectations. So
Sure.
like it had to do that. It had to do, and I know a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was
Well,
brilliant.
it. I think at the time it was just a different type of ending than what people were expecting, and also we have to remember
Yeah, yeah,
it was 2007. Kind of the artsy TV show had only been really done with Twin Peaks, right? It
right,
wasn't
right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
so. People
Oh
and
my
it.
God, Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah. Well, David Lynch. David. What the fuck am I talking about? Fucking David Chase borrowed from
Oh
Twin
my God, they got
Peaks.
they got the same first name.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah.
David Chase borrowed from David Lynch in terms of pacing and dream sequences and
Oh
all
yeah,
that
that's oh
jazz.
my God. That's the first thing that got me. Like the first moment where I'm like, this is a really good show in The Sopranos was when I saw those dream sequences.
Yeah.
Like that first one with Chris Moltisanti when he's like feeling a certain kind of way about that one guy he killed. Uh, that was I was like,
Right,
oh
and
shit, this is like good TV.
the
Holy
guy, the
crap.
guy that he called email.
Yeah, yeah. Then, and yeah, he and
Email.
what is it? Him and
Lu-
Big Pussy were
Louis
digging out of
Louis Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
the.
It's Luca
It's
Brasi.
Luca. It's Luca Brasi. But yeah,
Oh
that
shit, there was something
and
else I was gonna mention about
the
all of
show
this.
the show was great. The show was great, and I the for the documentary, I just didn't think it was fitting to do that. I guess to end
Eh,
it the same way because it's
yeah,
like it's such a it's so cheesy. It's such a cop out. Even though like there was a little bit of foreshadowing to that because like the documentary starts in a very very creative recreation of the intro to the show
sure, yeah.
where you have David Chase and Tony Soprano like sitting next to each
Right.
other in the car. I thought that was great. That kind of stuff is what worked for me.
I've done
But
that
then
drive. I've
yeah.
I've done that drive through New Jersey.
Oh, you've done it
Yeah, cuz
from
like
the
when I was
from New
moving
York, New
here,
Jersey.
when I was moving to Memphis from New Jersey, my wife and I drove from New York to Memphis, and to get there
Yeah.
you have to drive through New Jersey. Also, my family lives in New Jersey, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I have family in New York and New Jersey.
Ah,
Yep. And yeah, so it's funny. It does look exactly like the intro to Sopranos, where you have a lot of kind of swampland, but also heavy industry around. That's basically what New
yeah, yeah.
Jersey looks like when you're driving through it. If you're not in a city, if you're like on the highway or something. So
It feels like I don't I get this vibe from New Jersey because this is how I feel about my home, Puerto Rico, where it's like to some people it might look a certain way, but to you it feels like home. I
yeah,
guess I don't know. Like
might look
I don't know
janky.
how to describe that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get
because
it.
it's and that the show makes a point of like showing all sides of it. There's a really good episode when uh oh my God, I forgot his name, Paulie.
Forgot Polly Walnuts.
He
What's wrong with you?
yes, for a minute, because I was trying to remember his full name, Paulie Galtieri, instead of
Yeah.
just Paulie Walnut. But like, uh, when he comes back from Italy and he's just
I
looking
love the
around,
Italy episode. Such a
yeah,
good episode.
he's trying to talk to people and they all hate him.
Yeah, he talks to David Chase. He's like, "Commendatore,
Yeah, he
buongiorno."
has a little
And you got
he has a little
cocksucker.
cameo. And he just yeah, he just does the he does no, I love that episode because that is such a foreigner thing. Well, when you're there, they're not foreigners, but when you're like a tourist in another country, that's just the experience. Like
Yeah,
they just look at you like, okay.
yeah,
Like why are you here?
that's amazing.
I love that.
Yeah, so I've been doing. So I did watch the documentary. I don't
Yeah.
know. I found parts of it interesting. It was decent. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't groundbreaking, and it wasn't
I'm glad
awesome,
you liked it.
but it was okay. And I think that okay. So I've been watching season 4. Some takeaways from season 4. I think I already talked to you about them, but for our listeners at home, I'll bring up some. Some of the things that kind of came up for me as I was watching season 4. Number one, I completely hate Ralph. He's a piece of shit,
Oh
and
my
he's
god,
he's
yeah.
very cringe. Like he's cringe. Like, okay, also another reason why this is a comfort watch for me is because
Yeah, yeah,
I come from an Italian background and I lived in New York for my whole life. So um a lot of the cultural stuff that they bring up is stuff I've heard about all the time and experienced all the time in terms of like food and family and all that shit.
yeah.
So it is a comfort watch to me in that way. But then like uh, you get this character Ralph, played by Joe Pantoliano, I
Joey
believe.
Pants.
Yeah, his character is so fucking cringe. I hate when he says certain expressions in Italian, like in New York Italian, because I'm like, it sounds so forced when he's saying it, and also I'm biased because your character is a piece of shit and I hate you.
Do you think it's on purpose? I feel like if it was on purpose, that's a nice touch, right?
I
Like,
guess so. I mean, they really succeed in making me hate him because I
I
mean
mean, yeah, I hate him
he
too.
kills a woman. He fucking is just an
Oh my god, that
asshole.
episode. Jeez. Like, yeah, there's a lot of because I feel
Yeah.
like there's some build up when they introduce the character, and then the moment when he like turns like just dark and
Yeah.
straight up kills a woman. There's like this. He's kind of like teetering between villain and joke character up
Right.
until that moment where he just becomes full fledged like the villain, like the antagonist of that season.
Right.
Uh,
So
and
yeah,
oh my god, it's
season
heavy.
4 really made me hate Ralph like completely. Like he's so cringe and he's such an asshole and I hate him. And oh man, it's so satisfying when Tony just fucking murders him. I love it.
Oh my god, so we're just going there.
when
So
he
we're just
when he
going
just
there.
smashed his head on the ground, I'm like, fuck yeah, fuck Ralph.
The irony is that like, because Tony is not without fault here. Like the irony is that he's
Yeah.
seen Ralph do get all away with all sorts of fucking
Sure.
shit, and has been the one to tell everyone, no, 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 we need him. We can't just like off him, even though
Right.
like several characters have been after his throat. Like
Right.
our favorite, our favorite Johnny Sack
All right, can I
has
quickly
been
cut in with
trying
Johnny
to.
Sack?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just remember your point because I want to just work this in.
Yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
So Johnny Sack was another highlight of season 4 to me.
Yes,
One of the things I loved about him is how sweet he is to his wife, Ginny.
yes. Oh my
And
god.
he just protects her and is just like, I will fucking do anything for you. And I'm like, God damn, this guy's like, it really highlights how he stands up for his wife, and that says a lot in this in the quote unquote mafia in this show, where everyone's just a piece of shit to their wives and cheats on them
Right,
constantly. You get this dude, Johnny Sack, who's ready to fucking kill Ralph.
right.
He's like,
Yes,
yeah,
as a matter of
because he
fact,
said
because
something
Ralph
bad about
started
Ginny.
exactly, he started saying jokes about his wife and spreading them around to the point where like it made its way to him.
Right,
By the way, Johnny Sack is my favorite character. Like,
right.
not in the main cast, my favorite is Chris Moltisanti, but like
Ooh,
yeah,
what the
I'll explain
fuck?
later.
All right, you're gonna
Yeah,
have to
I'll
do a
explain
lot.
later.
We're gonna have to delve into a lot.
I'm a Christopher Moltisanti defender.
You're
I'm sorry,
fucking
but like,
apologist for Christopher Moltisanti. Jesus. All right, go ahead.
but my true favorite character is Johnny Sack, Johnny Sacrimony, because like, yeah, precisely because of what you said. He's tough, but he's also like sweet, and he's a family man. Like he's doing this
Right.
for the he kind of is like the altruistic gangster, like what in theory the gangster wants to be. Like,
Yes.
I'm
Doing it
doing
all
this
for
to
the
provide
family.
for my family. I'm doing this to make sure that everyone has no wants or needs in life,
Right.
like everyone who's with. And you love to see it, and especially when you find out that poor Ginny Sack, his wife, has like body image issues,
Mm-hmm.
and Johnny's like, I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
saying,
you. I love you the way you are.
right. He said, I never asked you
And
to
that,
do this. He said,
and that's the one where I was like
yeah.
locked in. This is my
Brings a little
favorite
tear to
character.
your eye. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And
Right?
also the fact that as soon as he heard that Ralphie was spreading jokes about his wife, he's like, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
If he keeps this up, I'm gonna kill him.
And at first on some of like my first watch through or my first few, I was like, all right, Johnny, you're kind of overreacting, but like on this recent watch through, I'm like, all right, like I totally get it. Like fuck Ralph.
Well, yeah, and like he points like he does things. So Johnny Sack is also kind of like the previous generation mobster too. So like
Sure.
he's trying to do
He's
things
old
the old
school.
fashioned way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to do things the old fashioned way. He's trying to go through every channel of like, hey, this is happening. What are we gonna do to resolve this problem? Like
Right.
he's being as diplomatic as he can be. And then oh, I forgot his name, the head of the family.
Carmine.
Oh crap. Yeah,
Carmine
Carmine is like,
Lupertazzi.
yeah, it's like, we don't want to do anything about it right now. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? In a few years, like 10, 20 years ago, this shit would not stand.
Sure.
And it's kind of again something I love about The Sopranos in general, like as a theming of the whole show, is this difference in generational
Yeah.
shifts where like you kind of see like the old school, the current school, and the new school at play, and like how each family is like passing on what they know, but then it kind of changes because of
Right.
circumstance and generational differences. And there's one of those things is on full display here, where like there's no dignity or honor
Right.
amongst thieves because like that's kind of an old school thing, like we're just here to make money. And to go back to my point, Tony Soprano has been defending Ralphie a little too much. Number one, because he's like one of his best
Top
earners.
earner, yeah. That's a hard
Yeah, and
thing to just whack a guy and he's making you all this fucking
yeah,
money.
and number two, he doesn't want to. He wants to keep things between New Jersey and New York, like frictionless, because
Right.
Johnny Sack represents New York. Uh, even though he moved to New Jersey, he's kind of like part of the New York family. And then the thing that pushes Tony, like he's going to bat for Ralphie in ways that everyone is starting to question. Like, why are you defending this scumbag? Like, he's a piece of shit, and we all want him dead.
Yeah.
And then the thing that pushes Tony over the edge is the fact that he found out that he killed his favorite
Yes, I was
horse.
going to bring that up.
When he
Fucking
found that out, he went after Ralphie himself and literally with his own
yeah.
hands killed him.
And that
It's
speaks to
crazy.
it speaks to Tony's character because he has a sensitivity over animals. Um
Yeah, he has a child. Like it's
Animals
kind
and
of
children
Tony's.
are his kind of what do you call it? His Achilles heel.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them weaknesses, but it's interesting because like it
That's
does
his
play in the.
humanity. That's where his
Yeah, it
humanity
does play.
shows.
His more charismatic side is that childlike
Mm-hmm.
or that the inner child in him comes out sometimes, which is both his strength and weakness because it gives him like a lot of empathy towards children and animals, but
Right.
then it also makes him a little spoiled brat, which is how he gets
Yes.
into a lot of fucking trouble. uh and then yeah, like he loved this horse. Is a really sweet episode where like he meets the Pyomai, he meets the horse, and it's just like wants to hang out with her, and like
He
there's
has
there's
a
one episode that
yeah.
one of my favorite episodes ends with him like petting the horse, and he's just surrounded by animals, and he's just like for a moment in full like peace, like at peace with
Is
himself,
that
at
when the
peace with
horse
the
is
world.
sick and he has to go out in the middle of the night to see the horse?
Yes,
Yeah, I love that
yes,
scene. And also,
and it
he
just ends
has
right there.
he
Really
has a
good.
portrait of him and the horse painted because he
Yeah,
loves the horse so much.
that fucking
And
portrait.
then Polly, when he after the horse dies and Tony throws the painting out, Polly takes the painting out of the garbage and has a fucking general regalia painted over Tony.
Oh
So
my
he's
god,
wearing a
yeah. So
uniform standing next to the horse.
it's the funniest subplot because like Tony doesn't want to know anything about this horse anymore, so he throws the painting
Because
out,
it
even
hurts
though it
him too
costs him like
much.
thousands of dollars. Yeah. Uh, Paulie is like, "This is art. I'm keeping this." In a
Right.
very great Paulie moment, he puts it up on his mantle, but for some reason he's like, he loves the painting, but every time he looks at Tony is literally staring back at him, so he starts getting
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and he hires another painter to like make Tony into like some kind of Napoleon like
Yeah.
general looking guy.
Not Napoleon. Like Napoleon.
Yes, my bad.
That's what Polly said. Uh, Like a
It's the funniest
general.
subplot. And
Yeah.
the thing, it's just such a good setup because eventually, like, and in an episode where you completely forget about this,
Right.
Tony goes to his house, which he never does, and lo and behold, the fucking painting is there.
Yeah, and Paulie lives in like a fucking shitty apartment. What's up with that?
Oh yeah, because
Like,
I don't
is
know,
it
maybe it's
because
just like
he had to put his mother in the home and that cost a lot of money? That's what I'm kind of getting out of this.
maybe he's
Because in
not earning
season
as much.
four, yeah, well, in season four, he puts his mom in the Green Grove retirement community, and
Yeah, yeah. It's a retirement
so
community.
it's a retirement community. Uh, yeah. No,
I was
I
gonna
don't know.
say that
Maybe that has
Polly
to do with the
maybe.
financial aspect of why he's living in like a shithole apartment.
See, I always thought that Polly was just like a man of few
Yeah,
needs.
I guess
He's
so.
content with he doesn't need like the lavish house. He's content with a small place.
Which is
Uh,
weird because you see, and same thing with Christopher. It's like he has a
well,
small
Christopher for
apartment with
sure.
Adriana, and it's like, yeah. So, all right, why are you a Christopher Moltisanti apologist? I got to get that
Oh
off my
shit.
chest. Like, what happened? Why do you
Uh
feel that he's manipulated into being this way, or
it's
that he's his
there's a
need?
little bit of that.
Yeah,
He feels like a like he was kind of born into this life and he doesn't really
sure.
have any other way to go. And I just found his arc very, which is funny because he talks about having an arc
Where's
in
my
the,
arc?
within in character, like
Yeah,
because he wants to be a writer. He's fascinated by movies. He kind of flirts with the idea of like, well, what if I go into the movies instead of being a mobster? Like that sounds
right.
better to me. And he struggles with this like identity of like, am I meant for more, or is this the life I'm supposed to be in for the, is this my destiny?
Right,
um
right,
and I just found that struggle to be very interesting. And then the fact that like at one point he just fully embraces his
right.
gangster lifestyle, and then just starts evolving as a character but in a dark way. I don't know, like I found that endlessly fascinating, like this character who's just kind of like doomed to live this lifestyle,
Right.
literally doomed because uh biggest spoiler that
Yeah,
the one spoiler that was spoiled to me was what happened to him at the end of the season, or season 5, I think. um
sure.
no, no,
Yeah.
season 6. That's oh my god. So yeah, it's I don't know, I just found him like a tragic character, and I'm attracted to that, I guess. I really like the idea of somebody who's like, he
Right.
also represents like the new school of the mobster lifestyle, and like how he does things differently than Tony, how Tony is like training him to be like his protege, his like successor, and that falls apart. Like I don't know, all of that to me is just so
Sure.
fascinating. And it's not necessarily that I identify with him, even though some of my own struggles as an artist, like he refers to me, which I do appreciate. But what I appreciate about Chris is just that tragedy. Like he is a tragic
Yeah.
character. He doesn't
He
he
is.
wants a better life for himself and for like Adriana up to some point, and for his family up to some point, because he's like desperately trying not to be his father, desperately trying not to be his mother,
Right.
but also
Oh.
trying to find better things for himself, and he just can't. I don't know. I find that fascinating, that like a character who's trapped into that road that will
Yeah.
eventually lead him to like doom. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they really play up that aspect of his character. My problem with Christopher is that like he's like he's abusive first of all.
Is he
That's
mean to Adriana?
he's extremely mean to
Yes.
Adriana, the character. And I
Even though she's
like
a sweetheart, like he's terrible to
oh
her.
yeah, I fucking hate that. Also he comes across as very stupid a lot. Like he does not seem intelligent, Christopher Moltisanti. He can't spell when he's typing. He can't spell anything, honestly, if you look at when he's writing his screenplay. And he just seems very stupid, honestly. And he kind of plays
Oh
in
no.
yeah. And he kind of plays into that like dim-witted gangster persona a lot in the show, and I'm like, ugh. I don't know. That part's off-putting to me. I'm like, for example, when Adriana's telling him about her how she might not be able to have children in season 4 because I was watching this,
Yeah.
and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my uterus was pierced," and he's like, "Both of them?" She's like, "There's only one. There's two ovaries." I'm like, "Oh my god, he's a stupid piece of shit." Like, I don't know. That gets me about Christopher. He has very limited intelligence, and it shows a lot. And
It's part of his upbringing, though. Like
I
I think
know,
it's
but
consistent with his character. Yeah.
I know, but then it makes me like it kind of has a personal effect on me, where it's like, oh yes,
Oh, I see.
quote unquote stupid Italians. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
I see.
it makes me feel that way sometimes, or I'm like, oh god,
Oh.
this is not good representation. But that's just a personal feeling. Like, then we're gonna have a million fucking guys right now being like, "Oh, Christopher's great. What are you talking about, you dumb bitch?"
What?
Coming at me for saying bad things about Christopher. Not that we have an
I mean, I think
audience.
it's
I'm just
part of his
saying.
character. I was gonna say like who?
No, like if I left comments, like because
Let's hope it doesn't happen.
yeah, well, Jesus, I wouldn't be surprised with the world today as it is. But yeah, I don't know, like that I kind of had that response to Christopher's character where I'm like, you know, because like I think about things like that when I watch the show because it strikes a personal chord. Like, what if there was a show about Puerto Ricans, right? You know what I'm saying? And they were like,
I mean,
and here's a
there's
character.
plenty of moments in The
Here's a main.
Sopranos where I'm like, oh, okay.
What?
There's plenty of moments in The Sopranos that are like not nice to Puerto Ricans.
No, I know, but I mean, like, if there was a show where they were the main characters, right? It was and they,
Okay.
I don't know. It's just, it's, sometimes it gets me where I'm like, oh, God. So, I don't know. That's just me.
I understand.
Yeah.
I've done I've done my defending. I got no more to say. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Chris is just a weird character sometimes. I really hate that episode.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The D girl episode. I fucking hate that episode. Uh, also with its casual,
Really?
also with its casual transphobia moment where they were talking about how one gangster poured acid on a trans woman's face, and when she went into the
Oh, that's
the
true.
pizza
Yeah.
shop, and they're like, oh, like they talk about it, and then fucking John Favreau's like, oh, hardcore. And I'm just like, yeah, you're real cool to fucking try to kill a trans woman. So thanks for that. And that's another moment. Like, I have a lot of problems
Yeah.
with The Sopranos, and it is a product of its time in the 2000s when it was okay to bash gays and trans people and everything. And, you know, but yeah, like, I also just hate that episode because it's very cringe, and I've talked to you about that before. Like, you talked about the girl character, I forget what her name is, the redhead who Christopher has an affair with, the agent, the Hollywood agent lady.
Yes. Ivy, real quick. I
Yeah.
think we're having connection issues.
We are.
I don't know.
I see you're getting screwed up on my end. You were looking blocky. Now it just looks like you're sitting there and moving your eyes around. Are you saying
Okay.
anything?
Yeah. What? You kind of cut off for me,
Hello, hello, hello,
and now you're cutting off again.
hello, hello.
I actually am trying to talk. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yeah. I think.
Oh my goodness.
I think we're good.
What is happening?
I don't know. Either the internet on my end or the internet
Wait,
on
really? Sorry.
your end is fucked up. I don't know. You good?
I'm checking. Let me check my Wi-Fi. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, because for a
'Cause
while I felt like
oh my
I was
god,
talking.
it cut off when you were like talking some important shit. And I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering because you weren't responding.
Let's restart Discord real quick.
Okay, technical difficulties.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. This is gonna take a moment, people, but I will keep recording.
Hopefully, hopefully better now. I'm sorry, and you were talking about like important shit, and then my fuck.
Yeah, you were just sitting there. I'm like, wow, I guess everything I'm saying isn't resonating with Jorge.
No, I'm sorry. All I caught
That's
was
cool.
that the D girl episode was cringe, which is true.
D-Girl
Even
episode
though
was cringe.
I do like that episode is an important
Hate
moment
it.
for Christopher. That episode is cringe as fuck. I don't like that John Favreau is there.
I don't like that he's there and
And
he's like, oh, I'm infatuated with the mafia.
oh,
and
tell me where I'm gonna.
and then
Anyway,
they insert a casual scene of transphobia when they're getting
like
pizza.
not even casual. It's just like the most blatant fucking thing.
Yeah, Christopher just screams. He's like, "Whoa, that thing is still alive!" And I'm just like,
Yeah,
"Wow, Chris." Another reason I hate
that is cringe.
Christopher Moltisanti.
That is cringe. I can't
Um,
defend that part.
yeah, and they have like a woman wearing like fucking full burn makeup all over her face, and it's like, and then they go into this elaborate backstory about how she was gonna like suck off some guy or some mob guy, and then he poured acid on her face or some shit when he found out she had a dick, and it's like that is a lot of transphobia in one scene, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
Jesus
and then
Christ.
it's just all used to be like, oh, isn't that crazy? Wow.
Aren't these fucking uh expletive deleted crazy? It's
Yeah,
like,
and then John Favreau was like, oh, tell me more, huh?
oh, it's hardcore, man. It's hard. That's hardcore pouring acid on people's faces for
And
having a
then this
dick.
like, and then like
That's
Chris
why
is just like
I'm like,
banging this girl that's also banging his cousin. It's just kind of weird. I don't
yeah,
know.
Christopher's a piece of shit and he deserves his death. And
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. Damn. I won't go that
he
far.
does.
Jeez.
He deserved like 50 times over to die. So
Oh my god.
yeah, he's a murderer first of all. So, um,
Bro.
and he just has completely wild and bad takes on everything. And yeah, he's kind of an indefensible character, honestly.
Just so
Yeah,
everything
I mean,
or
I
everything
feel
you
bad
said,
for him because
just bullshit. Bonk.
he's addicted to heroin. I feel bad for him in that regard, and the manipulation of the life that has molded him into this. I do feel
That's
bad.
kind of how I see him.
True.
I see him more as that. Like he's kind of been shaped by his
Right.
circumstances, and like if he's a piece of shit only because he was born into this lifestyle where being a piece of shit is
Yeah.
required.
So that's enough on Christopher.
Yeah.
I'm good. Um, yeah, so I watched season 4 and it was well, I didn't there was a few episodes at the end I didn't get to yet, but yeah, it felt like a quintessential Sopranos season. I do love when Tony is beating the assemblyman with a belt. Um
That really?
he's in the car. Tony's in the car after he learns that the assemblyman is going out with his old mistress,
Yeah.
Irina, and he starts crying when he's listening to this song because it reminds him of her, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to the assemblyman's house and I'm gonna beat his ass. He just shows up.
Oh
Irina
wow.
answers the door and he goes up the fucking stairs and finds the guy and he's just standing there looking at him and he's in his underwear. And Tony just takes off his fucking belt and just starts wailing on him. And I'm just like, and
Uh,
it's such a great scene though, because not only does Tony get his little revenge and he feels better, but this guy is just reduced to a crying baby on the ground, and Irina's staring at him like, "Oh, I'm wrong. I'm with the wrong guy," and looks after wistfully at Tony because it's like she's like Tony would never be on the ground crying, you know,
wow.
like
That is interesting because like I actually that scene actually makes me think of what's wrong with Tony.
oh yeah, no,
Uh,
100%. It
yeah.
shows Tony's flaws, but at the same time, I can relate to that level of jealousy that Tony's going through.
Wow.
I can. And it's just funny. Like, uh, it also shows Tony's feelings, that he has feelings and that they were hurt. Tony was very extremely hurt in that moment because he plays it off earlier in the episode like, "Oh, I'm okay with it. We're all adults here. You have fun. I'm not with her anymore." But he's so
I don't
fucking hurt
know.
over it. And it just comes.
Yeah, he's a petty. He's a child.
Yeah. No, he wasn't over it though. He wasn't over that relationship though. I think that's part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess to me is like I think it's funny how we're reversing roles here because I'm like Tony should just like be nice to Carmela. Like
Oh, he
stop
should.
going after
But
this Russian chick.
yeah, no, 100% he should be nicer to Carmela, but Carmela is manipulative and does what do you call it? She knows fully well what's going on and what she's a part of and all of that. But she just you know,
Oh shit.
she has her own morals on everything. Tony should be nicer to her, but like they're both involved in the life. So,
Yeah, there's a really good episode where like that one. You reminded me of that one episode where Carmela goes to therapy,
yeah.
and she's talking to this old man,
Yeah.
and he's the only character in the entire show that's just like telling Carmela exactly what's going on. Like
You are
if you
involved in this,
actually
and you are
yeah if
using
you
blood money to buy everything.
he's like, no, you know what, I'm not gonna charge you for this session. She's like, no, no, don't be ridiculous. He's like, no, you don't understand, I don't want your blood money.
It came from killing people. No, thank you.
And it's the only person in the show to tell her how it is.
Yeah,
uh
she's
so yeah, she's
delusional in
also
that
not
regard.
without fault. Yeah, and she kind of uses religion to hide
Right.
behind like the fact that like
I'm a good Catholic.
she's and yeah, she's like enabling horrible crimes as long as she
Right.
benefits from it. Passively, not
Sure.
actively, but still
Yeah.
uh,
No, it's
playing dumb when it happens.
yeah. No, it's interesting. Um, but I do want her. She is a more empathetic character, sympathetic, or I don't know which word suits the conversation here better, but I do think
Not me either.
but I do think that Carmela does deserve our sympathies in some regard because
In
Tony
some
did
regards, yeah.
bring her into this. And also he should be nicer to her.
Yeah,
Johnny Sack
that's
is a
all I'm
perfect
saying.
example of
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy to me that there are episodes where they make fun of Johnny Sack for not having like a
Gumar.
girlfriend or yeah, for not having Gumar, like just because he's loyal to his wife, and it's like, come on,
They
yo,
said
really? Like,
they said that about Bobby as well. I don't know if that's what
yeah,
you
yeah, Bobby
remember.
Bacala.
Yeah, because Bobby
No, I think
loves his wife.
at both characters they do get like comments thrown at
Right.
them, like, oh, yeah.
They
But
don't
yeah,
have
Bobby Bacala is
Gumars.
another one who just doesn't, he doesn't fuck around. He
Yeah.
just wants to have a family, and he's involved in this life to make money
Oh,
and
that
be
was one.
happy.
That was in the series. That was one of the most tragic deaths. I gotta say,
Oh my
Bobby.
god, yeah,
One of
and
the
it's fucked up. So
one of the most tragic
I,
deaths
I
ever.
yeah, I love model trains and I love hobby shops,
Yeah.
and it kind of fucked with me that like they
Do
just
you look over
murder
your
him inside
shoulder
of
when
the
you
shop.
walk into a hobby shop now?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, imagine like because they show the kids
Oh,
crying and screaming, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible.
yeah. It's just
And then some of the
traumatic.
model trains just have blood on them now. Like,
It's traumatic the way
uh,
they show him getting shot and stumbling and falling over
yeah,
everything. It's very brutal. It's extremely brutal. Um, I would say one of the most brutal deaths in The Sopranos. It's because
in terms of context,
he's
yeah.
such a lovable and sympathetic character that you root for him, right? He's killed a
Hmm.
guy, but Tony kind of held it over his head. He forced it on him.
Oh
That
yeah, he
that
also did not murder anybody until later in the show.
Yeah, that was him making his bones was Tony making him kill that guy because Bobby beat the shit out of Tony when they were hanging
Hmm.
out.
Oh God, I love that episode.
It's a great episode. Where they get worked up over a game of Monopoly and they beat the shit out of each other.
Top
And
10 anime fights: Bobby versus Tony.
yeah, but he makes Bobby kill a guy because he knows it's gonna fuck with him. Because he knows that
Oh,
Bobby
I
is
didn't
he
really
knows
think about
Bobby is
that.
soft, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And he's like, "This is your punishment for besting me." Essentially, that's
yeah.
what Tony does. And it's a great evolutionary aspect of Bobby's character. But yeah, that was one of the worst deaths in Sopranos was Bobby. Rip.
I want to say him for sure. Do you
Sure.
want to know which one I actually
Tell me.
actually got to me was Johnny Sack.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
when he has cancer.
he just gets cancer. He just
Yeah.
like, and this is something I love about like gangster dramas is that that dichotomy of like you either like something I do love about The Sopranos is kind of that slice of life aspect to the crime drama.
Yeah.
Uh, and the fact that some characters, they don't get off, they don't get killed, and they don't suffer like a sudden tragic death, but at the end of the day, they're just victims of mortality.
Right.
And it's like money can't cure cancer, like or at
Yeah.
least the kind of money they have, or dementia, which is what happens to
Right.
Corrado Soprano Jr. Um, like at the end of the day, you're kind of struggling with life, and it has nothing to do with how much money you have at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an irony that I found very touching with Johnny Sack. Like he did everything right. He was successful in every respect, but then like the FBI gets him. He has to
Right.
go in the he
He
has to go
gets
to jail, and
arrested.
he
Yeah.
dies in jail because
Sad.
like he couldn't outlive cancer, and it's like like nobody got to him, and yet he still died tragically. I don't know. It's like a very touching
Yeah.
scenario.
I know he surprisingly Johnny Sack is a sympathetic character in a lot of regards.
Yeah, yeah.
Um yeah, and well yeah, no, I agree with you totally on that. One of the grossest deaths to me was that guy that the big guy that they like that Silvio and Feech Lamana like stabbed in the fucking stomach with a butcher knife and then they like kicked his head down a storm drain. That was probably the most disgusting murder in The
Oh my
Sopranos.
god. Wait, I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember
They
this.
were in the kitchen and they were making jokes about like him
Yeah.
sucking dick and shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they're just like Silvio snaps and like smashes a board over his head, and then the other guy grabs the fucking butcher knife and just starts fucking stabbing his stomach.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome, but like
That
he was being a piece of shit
he was
though.
being a
So
piece of shit, but I don't even
part
remember
of me
who
was
that
like,
guy
"Oh my god,
was.
shut the fuck up."
But yeah,
I was kind of
that was
like,
disgusting.
he was one of Phil Leotardo's guys.
Yeah,
Uh, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, I was actually
yeah.
feeling for them. Like, if he doesn't shut up, something's gonna.
It was just so gross. Like
No, it was gruesome. It was gruesome.
I didn't like that
Uh,
one.
they do, they do,
They
they
did a
do
good
make it a
job,
point
and
to show you like how fucked up murders can be. So
yeah.
it's in good taste, I guess.
Although Phil
Uh,
Leotardo's death was completely justified,
oh
and
my god, that's one of the
fuck
funniest
him,
ones.
by
I'm
the way,
sorry.
because
Like, okay, I was gonna ask you like, what do you think of Phil?
I
Because
don't.
like he
He
is
killed Vito for
he
being
killed
gay.
Vito, yeah, for being
Fuck
gay.
that. Fuck that
In
shit.
a really weird moment where he comes out of the closet to kill him. Like, what was that? Theatrics?
Oh
Was
yeah,
that
he did
supposed
that
to
on
be
purpose.
funny?
He did that on
I don't
purpose to
know.
be like,
I
look,
don't know
I'm
what the fuck
coming
that
out of
was
the
about.
closet. You should have stayed in.
That actually was pissing me off. However, I do find like it's not that I like Phil Leotardo as a character, even though he has very interesting aspects to
Sure.
him.
No,
I
these
just like how he's written. I just like how they wrote him to be like the most threatening of the antagonists. Like he is
right.
the final boss. And if we're power
Sure.
scaling the characters in The Sopranos, I feel
Yeah.
like Phil Leotardo is like top five. Uh, so I found it great that the series finale had such a competent villain because like Ralphie sucks, like you said. even as a villain, I hate him because he's just like he just kept failing upward, and I fucking hated that.
He failed
He just kept
upward.
getting away with his slimy shit, which I fucking
Yeah,
hated.
and he was very
Uh,
cringe. And I wish the hitman in Miami killed him, the one that you thought was hot, the
yeah, he's
Asian
hot.
hitman that you thought was so hot.
Yeah, he just has like OnlyFans energy. I don't know. Like
He's like
I don't know what to say.
he's just giving you the death stare, and he just says, "I'm gonna fuck you."
He was doing it for me. But yeah, like I fucking hate Ralphie. I liked
Great scene, by the way.
uh yes.
When they go,
Yeah.
when
What the
Ralphie
fuck is
enters.
your problem?
What?
When he goes,
When
what
he
the fuck is your problem?
when Ralph goes into the elevator and the hitman is on the phone, and he's like, he gets a call to call off the hit on Ralph, like last second. He's like, I'm
Like,
already
yeah,
there.
literally.
And he's like, don't
Yeah.
do it. It's like,
Yeah.
he's just staring at Ralph. He's like, you have no fucking clue how lucky you are. Like, he was ready to just end him right there.
Yeah. Who was the I always forget his name, but I really like him. The guy in season 2. Shit.
Oh, are you
Who
talking
comes out of jail?
Richie? Richie Aprile?
Yeah, Richie.
I hate him.
Richie Aprile. You hate him?
I hate Richie.
I thought he was great.
Okay, he was great as a villain.
Yes.
He was
yes.
a little less cringe than Ralphie. But
He's still a fucking homophobe.
He's a homophobe. He doesn't like his gay son. I hate that he punches Janice in the face. And I fucking love when she shot him right after that.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
so
but
satisfying.
that was the most like oh shit moment in the whole show for because that's one of the few things that was not spoiled for me.
Right.
When
Me too. When he just gets shot immediately after
yeah,
punching
when
Janice.
Richie assaults Janice, and I was like, because the show obviously presents Janice as a very like a woman that values her agency, who's like
She's a new
very
age spirit. She's a new
and yes,
she's into
and
new
she has
age
that
mysticism
soprano.
and yoga and candles and crystals and bullshit.
Right. So when Richie assaults her, I was like, oh my god, like that's fucked up. I had no idea she was gonna show
She
up
comes
with
back
a gun
into the room with a
scene.
gun. Yeah.
I was like, oh crap, wait, what the fuck? And
I
she
love
fucking
it.
shoots him. I was like, this is okay, this is amazing.
It
Cause
was
like
so satisfying.
I was just like, you know what? More power to her. This is exactly what she would have done. Like if this like
Right.
again, because like it's consistent with her character, like don't fuck with me. And at the end of the day, she does have that like soprano a vibe where
Yeah.
it's like, all right, you fuck with me, I'm we're done here. We're done.
Right.
There's no talking. And then like just the fact that happened, I was like, okay, this is great because like Richie and even the writers admitted this. Like Richie was getting a little too powerful. Like
Yeah.
and like if they did not know how to write Richie out before he killed Tony.
I think the
Like
great
following like a
Sure.
sense of logic there.
Well, I think the great thing about it is he went to Junior to get his support, right? And then Junior's like talking to Bobby, and he's like, he just couldn't sell it. Talking about Richie, Richie couldn't convince him to give him his support. He's like, I'm with Tony, and then Bobby's like, I'm in awe of you right now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he's like, what are you looking at?
and the great thing about it is that they were going to kill Richie right then. They made the decision to like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna take Richie out, and then Janice fucking does it for them, and it's amazing.
I know.
And
It's such a curveball too, because like Tony has to clean up after her, and they both have to like
You-
come up with a story.
you
Like,
know
okay, he left. You
You know
know.
what's great about that scene though? When Tony shows up at the house, Janice is broken over it. She's like, "What have I done? I can't believe I did this," and she's crying. And
Mhm.
then Tony shows up. You see him standing behind Janice. He's like covering his mouth. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like trying not to smile and like be happy
but
about
also
it.
just kind of shocked. Like,
Yeah, he's like,
I did feel like a sense of like, whoa, like
yeah, it's
what
amazing
just
because
fucking happened?
yeah, and it's amazing because you realize that it's like he didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to lift a finger or organize the hit or do anything. It just happened. He's just like, well, Christopher, bring him down to Satriali's.
Yeah. Oh my
It'll be a while.
god.
It'll be a while
Oh
until
my.
I eat something from Satriali's.
Yeah. They're using the butcher shop to cut
Oh
up
God,
people.
him and Furio just fucking cutting him up.
Oh, let's go,
Let's
Furio.
talk about Furio. He's great.
One of the best. One of the
Uh,
best. Yeah.
okay, dude is fucking brutal though. He's one of Tony's most fucking cold-blooded accomplices. Like he'll just do
He's
it.
old
He'll do
school, but
everything
like
with a
old
straight.
country old school.
He'll do everything with a straight face. You know, he has a
Yeah.
amazing poker face. You just don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck he's thinking sometimes. And I didn't do a rewatch of this episode yet, but the one where he kind of almost kills Tony in order to be with Carmela. He
Yeah.
fucking grabs Tony and almost throws him into a plane propeller when they're on the runway, or it's a helicopter propeller,
It
I
was a
believe.
helicopter. It was a
Yeah.
helicopter. Tony's taking a piss next. By the way, terrible idea. Do not piss next to a
They're
helicopter.
drunk, so
Uh,
you know.
But yeah, he's fucking wasted. So like, even though Furio like just like kind of grabs him,
fucking
Tony's like, "What the
grabs
fuck are you
him.
doing?"
He's like, you're standing
And
too
then-
close to the propeller. So he makes it. He makes that sudden snap. He's like judgment to be like, I'm not gonna kill him. I'm going to go back to Italy and disappear.
Yeah, I'm just done. I'm just done. I can't do this. If I stay here, I will kill him.
He almost threw Tony into a fucking propeller, and
Almost ended the show.
Jesus, like that was insane. Because season 4, it's building up the romantic tension between him and Carmela. And
Yeah.
and he would have been some like that's fucking beautiful. He would have taken care of Carmela. He would have respected her.
I know.
And it's he was willing to fucking kill for Carmela. Meanwhile, I don't know. It's just a little. It's a little. That's one of the other romances other than Johnny Sack and Ginny that was kind of more wholesome and more
I know,
respectable. You know.
I was more rooting for Furio and Carmela, like my head canon, I guess. But I guess the show enables it.
It
kind of
does.
does.
That's
say,
what
like,
it wants
yeah,
you to.
maybe she would have been a lot happier with him.
Right. And then, yeah, there's a point later where she mentions it to Tony, and he like punches the wall or something, and
Oh God,
saying that he's
terrifying
gonna
scene.
like kill Furio if he ever finds him, and all this stuff. Which he doesn't. Furio's just out of the show for the remainder of the show.
Yeah, he makes it out. He leaves the. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
that boss lady, the Italian lady.
Oh,
she's so hot.
she can get it. Yeah.
I forgot her name. Damn it, I should because
She's
like,
probably
one of the
got
hottest characters in the show.
soldiers and capos on rotation for her bed. You
Just
know.
think
She getting fucked left and right. She getting fucked, boy. You know that.
Go.
Like
Oh
you're
my
telling
God.
me
Yeah.
she's not like 100%. You telling me she's not sleeping with the whole crew?
Oof. I guess it could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can happen. I found it interesting
She
that
wanted
Tony,
to fuck
the
Tony
one
for
time,
fuck's sake.
I think she was kind of, she had ulterior motives.
Sure.
Sure,
yeah,
she wanted to
what
get
she
a piece of
wants
that,
and-
but also there was like, you know what, if I
part of the
I bet I can,
negotiation
like-
piece on the cars, the stolen
yeah, exactly,
cars they
like
were selling.
I'll have the bargaining power if I give some, but like Tony for once demonstrated fucking restraint, which
Yeah.
is incredible.
Even though he had
and
a
I love
dream,
it.
even though he had a dream he was doing her in ancient Rome or some
Oh
shit.
yeah, oh yeah, it was great. But
So goofy,
but
we'll allow it.
I love that line. I love that line he says. He
Don't
tells
shit
her
where you
like,
eat.
I don't shit where I
I
eat.
knew what you were gonna say. That's
it
sound
was
advice.
I know for once,
Right?
Tony's got like a lucid energy.
Yeah, great episode.
But
yeah, and then I mean, like, so this is turning into a Sopranos episode, which is fine.
I know
'cause
it kind of just did.
We've been meaning to do this actually. So like AJ and Meadow, like they can be very cringe at times. What are your thoughts on them?
Well,
They're
the
just
show
kind of
starts
there.
and they are teenagers in the beginning of the show, so they're
Right.
supposed to be cringe, as all teenagers are.
But you know what? I do
Uh,
find that Meadow is a great foil for Tony in season 1 because he tries to keep the his life uh in organized crime away separated from his family, and
yeah.
she's always bringing it up. Meadow's always bringing it up in season 1. It's like, Dad, are you in the mafia? Or like, oh, there's one part where they're sitting at dinner and she's like naming all the famous gangsters and stuff, like, because they're talking about famous Italian people or something, and
Oh
she's
my
like Lucky
god.
Luciano. And
She's just trying to start shit.
yeah, so I think that's great that she does that. Like, fucking AJ is just like ignorant of the whole thing in season 1. He's like, what, Dad's in the
Yeah, he's just a
mafia?
kid. He's just playing Mario Kart.
And then there's that great scene where they're at someone's funeral, and Tony just gives AJ a wink. He just winks from across the graveyard, and then the episode ends when
Because he sees the
AJ
FBI.
starts when AJ starts suspecting that Tony is in the mob.
Yeah.
It's just a great scene. It's like so heavy, that just one little thing that James Gandolfini throws in there, and it's just great.
Yeah,
So
I think the children, I will call them. I think they
the
they
child's
represent they represent an interesting
they're
like
yeah, right.
contrast between innocence and like
They're
maturity, because like by the end of the show they're completely different characters.
Are they not the
Uh,
true foil for Tony thematically?
they
Like,
are,
they
although I
they
would call them.
well, you know what I mean? Like, they are the ones who will truly get at Tony's heart, and the ones who will make him question what he's doing, the ones that will really, they're the ones that really get to him. You know what I mean? When you
Sure.
when you think about it, Carmela, he can just
Yeah.
bullshit a little bit. His friends, he doesn't tell a fucking thing until later when it comes out that he went to therapy, but that kind of got out. He didn't tell them, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's really his children, in my opinion, that kind of bring out the best in him and that challenge him in some ways. At least that's
Yeah,
my
and
that's my little analysis.
I guess for good reason. They are his kids,
Yeah.
and he wants to some extent he wants to protect them from that
Right.
life, even though and the show very much admits that that's impossible.
Right.
Uh, Especially with AJ, since he's
Yeah,
he's kind
and
of the son. He's
believe
like,
me, I don't like when he's slapping AJ around and stuff. Like,
oh,
I
that
think
scene was
that's
like
yeah.
intense.
Yeah, cuz I've been there before. I've been on the receiving end. It's not good.
Oh, really? Oh,
Oh
jeez.
yeah, no, I already told you. Shout out to abusive fathers.
Oh,
But
jeez.
Tony, you know, says that he tells his kids that he loves them and everything, and does show some restraint sometimes. But yeah, there's some moments where I'm like, ugh, I don't like the abuse, the physical abuse sometimes, and you know,
The
yeah,
that is kind of the tragic part of Tony, because
yeah,
like he is like a victim of his own parents' abuse.
yes,
And I guess like the biggest dilemma that parents face is like, how do you prevent the abuse that was given to you
sure,
from passing down to your children? And I think there are some of my favorite Tony moments are when he catches that, when he realizes that
yeah.
he's being his father, he's being his mother towards his kids.
Oh, I hate that.
Uh,
Yeah, I
and
agree with you
and it's
100%.
yeah, it's like this a very powerful like that scene you mentioned where like like he's got AJ pinned to the car, and like
Yeah.
that shit is intense. Like
You talking about when he tried to kill
I don't-
Junior? Is that the
yeah,
scene?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when he caught AJ
He's
trying to,
like, you're
and
always
he was
talking
like,
about The Godfather and how great it is, and
I that's one
when
of my
when
favorite
Michael
scenes
Corleone tried to kill, uh, you know, tried to
when he's
kill the
having everyone
guy,
killed. Yeah,
and then he's
and he's like,
like,
yeah, and you're always rooting for them.
yeah, and it makes Tony think in that moment. It's a great scene. He's like, wow, this is, look what I'm doing to my kids and all this stuff. You know.
Exactly. And then he has to struggle with either letting AJ become part of, like, basically become his next in line, or give AJ the opportunity to leave the life,
Right.
he has to struggle with that
Oh my
because
god.
like
And that one scene where AJ tries to commit suicide, like that makes me tear up a little. Like,
it's another
yeah,
powerful
like
scene.
when AJ tries to drown himself in the pool and then Tony finds him and pulls him out, and like it's so emotional. Like that brings a tear to my eye, that
It's
scene.
sad. It is because
Yeah.
and AJ just doesn't think through what would happen, and
Yeah.
like then he kind of regrets it. But then Tony's like, because again, Tony sees the thing that gets him, and this I do kind of relate to him in this way. When Tony sees AJ struggling with mental illness,
Yeah.
and he feels like it's his fault,
Yeah, he
that
says
shit,
my
that's what
poisoned
gets to
blood
me.
is what gave them
Yeah,
this curse, you know what I mean? Like
that's
that's
what
what he
gets to
said.
me. That gets to me. Yeah, because like
He's like my
it is this
putrid
like
genes or whatever he said.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very self derisive. It's like, and you feel bad because it's like, no, Tony's not your fault. Like this is
Yeah.
a thing that happens to everybody. It's like,
Yeah,
but
it's
you
heavy.
can't help but feel bad because it's like, yeah, that this is like he struggles with mental illness,
Yeah.
and he can't, and he feels like he has to tough it out. But when he sees his kid trying to tough it out, he feels for him. He's like, no, this isn't like I'm sorry I did this to you. I did this to you. It's
Yeah.
not your fault. That shit's powerful. Yeah.
One of the easily one of the most brutal scenes in the emotionally brutal scenes in the show was with AJ's suicide attempt. It's
Right.
definitely really really emotional. And for Meadow, we'd be remiss not to mention the episode from season one, College, which is one of the best Sopranos episodes,
Yeah.
where
That.
Tony brings Meadow to I believe to Maine. They drive to Maine so
Hmm.
for her to check out one of the colleges up there,
That's right.
and they run into a rat, someone
Yeah,
who
they run
flipped
into a
on.
former rat.
Yeah, this guy who flipped on Tony's crew, I think, back in the day, and they found him. He found him living up there, and it's the first time we see Tony kill on screen, and that's he's balancing this family life. He's like, "Oh, Meadow, go hang out with your new friends. I'm gonna go take care of something," and he
Yeah.
tracks this
Yeah.
guy down to where he lives, and then this guy finds Tony and Meadow and wants to kill Tony, you know, and he
Yeah.
hesitates, and
Because he's
yeah,
gonna get to him first.
yeah, and then Tony ends up killing him, and
Yeah.
that really establishes who Tony is in the series, you know, because it's like, yeah,
I
one of the
remember.
best episodes, and again that's when they're in the car driving, and Meadow's like, "Are you in the mafia?"
Yeah, she confronts him about
Yeah,
the like something she has suspected for a
it's
while.
offensive and it's a stereotype.
But that episode, I remember hearing that episode was kind of the first time they wanted to show like the ugliness of being in the mob,
Yeah, and
and
they were afraid to
not in
do
a
it,
glamorized like not in a gangster like how they how Polly and Chris kill Mikey, where it's
which is a
like
great
cool and they're
scene, and I
chasing
hate
after
Mikey.
him and
I hate Mikey Palmise.
oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. I love Mikey because of
He
how
fucking
smug and
sucks.
shitty he is. I'm sorry. It's comedy. He's so smug,
He's such a
but he's
piece of
got so
shit.
much swagger. I fucking love it. I'm sorry. Uh,
Okay, anytime you
Mikey,
get
he's low key one of my favorite thugs. Like
he's
he's
such a
just so
dick.
fun. I know, but it's great.
I love when Tony beats the shit out of him and staples shit to his fucking. I don't know. I forgot if he stapled it
He
to his
has it
face or
coming.
something. But
Everything that happens to him, he has it coming. But it's great.
yeah, and Tony's like, "Oh, you got a case of fuckface-itis?" Oh god, it's
Oh my
so good
god.
when
And then
Tony's
yeah,
just like verbally unloading on him.
and then Polly and Chris chase him
They
down just
chase him through the woods,
like
and
he's just jogging, and Polly's like just getting poison
Polly gets
ivy.
poison ivy. He's like, "Fuck, poison ivy! It's all over me."
He's just like losing his shit. But they get to him, and they have this scene where he's just like "No!" on the fucking
Getting
gutter,
shot
like
when he's laying in the ground on
and
the
they're like
ground.
"Da, da, da," and they're zooming in. And of course, it's like classic.
He's like, "You killed
like,
Brendan."
yeah, and they're just and that part for that scene they did glamorize it a little bit, even though it's funny because they're like chasing him
Yeah.
down fucking New Jersey forest. But Then when
Anytime,
Tony,
anytime you get Christopher and Paulie alone, it's comedy gold. I love it.
yeah, and then but then when Tony kills the rat, who's like hiding in is Maine in Boston? I forget. My geography's terrible.
No,
When he catches,
it's just Maine. They're in the countryside of Maine, I guess. They're What do you mean? Is it in
okay, yeah.
Boston?
So,
Is in Massachusetts?
oh my bad. Yes, my bad. If you didn't know this about me,
Maine is up further.
I'm terrible.
Maine is
I'm
up
terrible
up more.
with United States cities.
Maine
Oh, hold up.
Maine is up
My
more.
headphones died. There you go. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Wait,
Oh, I
are you
hear
getting
my
echo?
echo. Yeah, I am getting
Okay,
echo.
my bad. Let me. Okay, should be good now.
Okay. I hear you. I just don't see you.
I will be here in a minute. There I
Okay.
am. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, my headphones died.
No, it's cool. Like, yeah, Maine. So they go to Maine, and yeah, they do that. And one of the things they worried about was like showing the main character kill somebody, and they're like, oh, maybe people won't like this, and they won't root for Tony, before they did it. That was the sentiment. That's something they talked about in the Sopranos documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they made sure to not glamorize it, to make it
yeah,
look ugly. Like he's like choking him to death. It's not
sure.
cool. It's not badass. It's
Yeah,
just fucking gruesome.
and
And
also
that's the point.
right. And to bring up another Polly Christopher moment, we have to mention Pine Barrens, which is probably the best episode of The Sopranos. Um,
Directed by Steve Buscemi.
yeah, and it was just a great episode, a Fargo-esque little epic. Um,
Yeah, Fargo.
and there's, everyone loves that scene where they're on the phone with Tony, telling him about the guy that escaped that they were going to kill in the woods.
Yeah.
And Polly's like, he killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. And then Christopher's like, his house looked like shit.
Yeah.
Like, just they're both of their collective stupid in this echo chamber was just amazing. I loved
they,
it.
they make a good comedy duo, and that
Yeah,
episode also kind of brings them a little closer together because before that they kind of hated each other.
sure.
Uh, and throughout the whole show, both Polly and Chris have like a lot of tension between them. They're very like friends one day, enemies the next.
Yeah.
Uh, and
We
that
got
episode kind of tested that relationship.
Yeah, it was a fantastic episode. If anyone wants to just watch one episode of The Sopranos, put that one on. You'll love
Yeah.
it. Um, we would also be remiss not to mention one of the most important characters in The Sopranos, which is the food. The food. How could you not mention the food in Sopranos? Sunday
Uh,
dinner. That's one
yeah.
of the most important Italian American traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, they're always doing these big dinners at Tony's house on Sundays at a lot of scenes take place around the table at Sunday dinner. Like what's your and Artie Bucco, let's mention the chef, the
Artie
of
Bucco
Vesuvio, the restaurant.
and
They
Charmaine Bucco.
I Artie's great character. He's
I love
fun.
Artie.
He's
The
very fun.
actor, I love that actor because like he's I wish I remembered his name.
Yeah,
Oh
I
crap!
forgot his name
It'll
too.
come to me in a minute.
Sorry.
But, like I love how he's really good at playing an anxious character. Like
Yeah.
having
He's
having
this
that
unwitting uh kind of accomplice in the life. He provides a
yeah
place where Tony does his deals. And
yeah and I love how he plays this the duality of the character where like in front of all these people he has to act a certain way
yeah,
in front of like his customers, in front of like his staff, and in front of like Tony and his friends. He acts a certain way, but when he's alone with like Charmaine, he's like completely different. He's like a
right.
broken man. I love that duality. Like he does that really well.
I love Charmaine. She's cool.
Oh yeah, and she's hot too. She's
Yeah,
pretty.
very. Yeah. I do I want to look do I want to look like her? Maybe. I could pull
Let's
it
go.
off. Um yeah, the food. One of the highlights for me as a food obsessed person, which I've had to overcome recently because we all know I've always talked about being on a diet and everything. I've been doing this shit for like 3 or 4 months now. Like I
Hmm.
lost a great 20 pounds. I'm very happy
Oh,
with it.
oh, very good.
I'm loving how I'm looking, but I haven't fucking eaten. I have not eaten pasta in 3 or 4 months now.
Oh my God.
You know how
Oh
hard
no.
that is for someone like me,
It would be hard for me.
right?
That
Um,
no, I
so,
can't give up
oh,
pasta.
fuck. I would love some ravioli. New York has some amazing ravioli. New York has amazing food because I grew up there for like 30 something years.
Hmm.
Um, we have Italian markets everywhere on Long Island where I'm from.
Hmm.
And places where you can just get cannoli, you can get just anything, and it's fucking amazing. And they make the fresh ravioli. I don't know if you've had them where
Ooh.
they're in like kind of these plastic containers, like they made the pasta in house. So it's like soft, it's not frozen, and you just throw it
Hmm.
in the boiling water for like a few minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah, that shit's
I don't
fucking
think I've ever had
phenomenal.
ravioli like
Holy shit. All right, when you
out the
come to
box.
visit, we do have an Italian market down the road. We'll get
Ooh,
some,
okay.
I'll make you some ravioli cuz
All right.
shit's so good. I got to tell you. Like when I'm eating carbs again, when I'm back on the pasta, I'm telling you, I'm going through some withdrawal here cuz
No.
Sopranos really brings out my food addiction.
I was gonna say like Sopranos introduced me to a lot of foods I didn't know, and I was fortunate enough to
Brajol?
find a
I never had brajol. Do you know what that is?
no, no.
So they mentioned brajol. They're small steaks. They're like round steaks that
Oh.
you put different things inside of, like Parmesan cheese and sometimes pine nuts or something else, and they roll it up and tie it with like string or something, and then you braise it in tomato
Hmm.
sauce. So it's basically steak cooked in tomato sauce.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'll be sure
So
to ask for that.
when they say brajol,
Brajol.
and they sometimes use that as a slang word for cock because it's rolled up like a long thing, right?
Oh,
So
okay,
that's
I see.
why
So
when they
everything
say
is it's like
that's why
rolled up and
they're
it's inside.
yeah, so they're like my
Oh.
brajol. They're talking about their cock.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
can
know
give
that.
you some insight into Italian culture.
The one I was always interested in was the sfogliatelle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing
Sfogliatelle,
that.
yeah.
So we found out there's a place near us that has
Ooh,
sfogliatelle. And
yes,
I'm like, "Oh
because you're
shit,
near a
we
big
got to go.
city, right?
We got to go try it. We got to go try that shit." And we did, and it's amazing. That was like one of
That's
one of the
wonderful.
yeah, that's one of the things the Sopranos like got
You've
me
had
into was
cannoli, obviously.
of course, yeah, yeah.
I
That's easy
love
to find.
cannoli, and yeah, I mean, just a nice cannoli with the chocolate chips in it. Have you had those?
Yes, with the chips,
Love it.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the best kind.
phenomenal, especially when they dip the shell in chocolate and you got the cold hard chocolate on the shell.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking phenomenal too. I haven't had a lot of the specialty ones like they do pistachio and stuff.
Ooh,
Yeah,
pistachio cannoli. Holy
it's
shit.
fucking crazy some of the stuff they come up with. But
Yeah, I know I can get like I've had squid ink pasta before.
okay, I've never had
You
that.
can
How
get that
is it?
here. I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
Although n- the one I had like all of the seafood on it, and I would if I get it next time, I would
Okay.
probably cut down on that because I'm just not
Yeah.
weird. I know, but I'm not that into seafood.
Well, you like shrimp probably, right?
Yeah, shrimp like especially fried.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously Italian cooking is big on seafood because the Mediterranean and all that.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
influences the cooking of the region.
yeah.
Trying to think of some other. Have you heard of Feast of the Seven Fishes?
No, what is
So
that?
that is traditionally done on Christmas Eve, and there's
Oh,
seven different. So it's kind of a meal made of seven different types of seafood, or rather, that is the goal. So
okay.
basically, you can have scallops, shrimp, you know, calamari, or galamad if you say it that way.
Oh,
So like various types of seafood, like a linguine with clams or something to that extent, or so it's like
hmm.
basically a big seafood kind of meal that's prepared for Christmas Eve. It's called Feast of the Seven Fishes.
And it has just like all of the seafood in it.
Yep. So
Holy shit.
you kind of have all these different courses of seafood.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't that neat?
I guess that's overwhelming. Like the
Yeah.
squid ink pasta had shrimp, calamar, and scallops, and the clams, the one you open.
Mussels.
Forget their name. Mussels. Yes.
Mussels
It
are
was
big
like
in Italian cooking.
wow. So like I'm not a picky eater. If you put
I don't
something
like
in front of me,
shellfish, so
see, I don't like shellfish either, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna eat
you'll
it because I
try
want to be
it. Yeah, you'll give it a
respectful.
shot.
Yeah, I want to try it. I want to be respectful. And I ate the whole thing.
Stuffed clams, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I ate the whole thing. It was great. But I would never do that
Sure.
again.
Well, that's fine. You know, some people can't even eat seafood. Like they're not into it. I love fish, like fried fish. Just
Yeah,
salmon's good, etc. You know, that's all good. I just
yeah,
don't do shellfish. Like I don't do like
yeah. Me
straight
neither.
up
I don't
clams,
know.
oysters. I'm not gonna fucking eat raw oysters. I'm sorry.
No,
Um,
Margot loves raw oysters.
oof.
She let
No,
me
no,
try
thank
some, and
you.
I'm like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, enough with that. Come on, just eat something cooked. It's fine. I
I mean,
like
no joke.
sushi,
Like
but
the one time she had pretty bad what was it? She caught
food
something from
poisoning.
like
Yeah.
shellfish, and
Oh,
I was like, you
that's
know what?
terrible. Like
That's
Tony in the
exactly.
episode Funhouse,
Ah,
where Big Pussy gets killed.
yeah. And he keeps
Rip.
blaming it on the Indian food, but then the doctor's like, no, they put a lot of spices in that stuff. It kind of kills all the bad stuff.
Sure. Something made Tony get the shits. And they play comedic sound effects when he's in the
Oh
bathroom.
my god, it's like the Dumb and Dumber scene when like
It's like,
when Jeff Daniels is
oh.
like shitting himself. It's that
He's like,
kind of fucking
and then Tony gets up. He's like, "Oh my god!"
and just the most cartoon fucking part.
It's like Ren and Stimpy esque.
Yeah.
It's Rubens esque. Thank you, Johnny Sack. Uh,
I
yeah,
was
but
I was I know the scene you're talking about.
you knew that's what I was talking about.
Uh,
But I love this. I love that we're there's so much, right? When you talk about The Sopranos to touch on.
yeah, I'm glad I
But
watched it recently.
yeah, me
That
too.
for the first time, I actually haven't seen it when it was airing, nor did I watch it during COVID, which is when most people got into it. I just picked it up randomly.
Yeah, it's experienced a kind of resurgence lately in popularity due to the pandemic. So people started watching more shit because of the pandemic. One of the
Yeah,
things was Sopranos because that's one of those series everyone was talking about, right? And everyone was stuck at home. So it's like, okay, what do I got to watch on my list? Sopranos, let's do it. And then a lot of people became new fans. And one of the
yeah.
things I like is that the queer community actually got into The Sopranos.
Mhm.
So you and I are not exceptions to this. Like, there's a lot of people in the queer community that have recently gotten into The Sopranos and have embraced it, and which is great.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that is surprising because like we were mentioning earlier, there are some yikes as fuck
especially in the
episodes.
first couple seasons.
Yeah, yeah,
There's some what do you call it? Homophobic
yeah.
depictions. But I think as time went on, they phased that out a little bit, and I tend to think that it was more of a reflection of the time in which the series was made, which was the early 2000s, which was a very homophobic time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah,
The first season was 1999, right?
yeah, it
Yeah.
was 99, 2000, 2001. Those were like seasons 1 to 3. But yeah, we were talking about. No, I was loving when we were talking about food. Uh, yeah,
We can keep talking.
there's this nice Italian market down the street from me that I discovered upon moving here, and
Ooh.
I've bought a lot of stuff from them in the past. Back when I was eating pasta, I made some gnocchi, which I don't know if you're a
Ooh.
fan of.
Margot, I'm not big on
I
it.
love
Margot loves it.
gnocchi.
Okay.
Gnocchi's good. They had some really good linguine. It was fresh linguine, so it was just in the fridge. It wasn't hard, so when you take it
Yeah,
out,
it's the
it's still
sauce.
soft. Because
Yeah,
all
yeah.
they did was they make it fresh and they put it through a pasta, one of the press that
Yeah.
like cuts it into strands. which
Hmm.
is pretty cool. It has a lot more flavor in my opinion than like the
I actually
store-bought
agree. Yeah, I actually
hardened
agree.
pasta, right? Um,
Having because I've had there is a spot here. It's a bit of a drive for me, but you can get
oh yeah,
like
tell
fresh
me about that.
pasta.
Tell me about the Italian markets near you. You were telling me about it.
Oh,
The
there's I don't know if there's a market, but I have been to
or
some spots.
restaurants, yeah.
Like in Atlanta, there's one place I got like fresh spaghetti in because I was gonna
Mm-hmm.
make Margot some eggplant parm for like one of our anniversaries,
Ooh, love
and
me some
which
eggplant parm.
yeah, she loves eggplant parm. I hate eggplant, but I'll do it for
Oh, you
her.
don't like it when
So,
it's fried?
not even when it's fried.
Oh
No,
God.
I actually don't like
Oh,
eggplant
I love
at
eggplant.
all.
Love eggplant
Yeah,
parm with spaghetti. That shit's good.
yeah. So I was trying to get her some like authentic spaghetti,
Yeah.
and I found one spot that I wish I well I don't want to remember the name. I don't want to dox myself, but like
Dox
the
myself.
they
Just saying the name of a fucking public restaurant, you're gonna dox yourself.
it's not even that close to me.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
But yeah, they also had like a homemade sauce, like the tomato sauce and
Right.
spaghetti sauce, and it was great. Like I loved it. I kind of
Right.
want to go back. But they had the pasta they had was not frozen, not dried. It
Sure.
was it was like you said, it's in a bag in a fridge. You take it home, you make it that same day, and it's
Yep.
perfect. It is better. Yeah, I agree.
It is. Fresh
Uh,
pasta is definitely preferable. And apparently, it's not hard to make your own pasta. You just use flour and eggs, and
yeah,
you all the shaping process is the hard part.
yeah, I was gonna say the hardest part is getting like the right tools to make the noodles.
Sure, because you need to have
That's the
the
only thing.
tools, right?
But it's just you roll up a dough and cut it,
Sure.
and
It's
that's
like
it.
we all act like pasta's this magical thing that nobody can make, and it's like apparently it's actually not that many ingredients, right?
Not really. It's simple. It's simple, but it's
Right.
like perfect.
Right.
Which I like. That always tends to be my favorite cuisine when it's just like you know what,
Yeah.
really good ingredients. That's all you need.
So one of the places I've wanted to go to is a festival in New York City called the Feast of San Gennaro. I don't know if you've heard of
Hmm.
it. It's
No,
on
no.
I forget the name of the street. I don't know. Nobody jump down my throat, all you Italian Americans, but I think it's on Mulberry Street or whatever that street is that Little Italy is on, because Little Italy is now basically relegated to one street in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
It's very small. It's a very small area,
Yeah.
but Feast of San Gennaro is a festival that is held every year, kind of celebrating Italian American culture, and basically it's just a fuck ton of food stalls and various festival goings on. And
Hmm.
there's a procession that they like. There's some religious aspect to it that I'm not up on, that has to do with Catholicism. but they have like a, I believe they depict it in The Godfather Part 2 and maybe 3, Feast of San Gennaro.
What
You
part
know,
of part
okay.
two?
So in Part 2, when Vito is in it's the flashback when Vito is going to
Oh
kill
yeah, yeah.
what's his name? The
He's trying to get
boss.
that the big guy.
Yes.
Okay,
There's the
yeah, yeah.
festival on that street. That's Festival of San Gennaro.
Oh, okay. I know what you're
And
talking about now.
where they have the lights on the street and
Uh
everything.
huh.
So I believe they also have it in. I've only seen The Godfather Part 3 once,
Me too.
and
That's the only amount of times I want to see it.
they I think there's a scene where they kill some guy and they're at a festival.
Really?
They're at a festival though. I think it's the festival
Okay,
of
okay.
Feast of San Gennaro. So
Okay.
I want to go there, and I think it's a week-long festival, and they just have like sausage and peppers, and that they're cooking on the street, right? Like, so they have a big
Yeah, yeah.
grill
Street
and
food.
everything.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, street food everywhere. They have the zeppoli, which are the what do you call it? Funnel cakes. You know, funnel cakes.
Yeah.
It's like that, but the Italian version, or like a beignet. You know what a beignet is?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, it's like a donut. It's a powdered donut that is fried. And do you think they're mid? Is that what you're saying?
No, I kind of know what they
Oh,
are.
okay, I thought you were like, fuck you. Those are mid. But
I'm trying to think. Have I ever had a beignet?
I did in New Orleans a couple of years
I bet
ago.
Margot would know more than I would. Hold on.
Depending, yeah, I may be going to New Orleans again for my birthday in March.
Ooh.
Depending on when I'm getting my facial feminization surgery. That's like, whichever one comes first is what I'm gonna do. So I do want to go back to New Orleans.
Heard it's nice.
My wife and I are I'm not gonna say degenerate gamblers. We like gambling. They just revamped the casino that's in New Orleans on
Oh.
Canal Street. So Canal Street's like kind of like the big hub of New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
the main thoroughfare, and other
Okay.
than Bourbon Street, which is like the party street, which is great. I don't know if you've been to Orleans.
Never. Never
So
been.
if you go to New Orleans, go to Bourbon Street. You'll get drunk immediately, and there's just bars that are open on the street, like the whole front facade of the bar is open, and they have live
Mm-hmm.
bands playing, and you can just go from bar
Oh.
to bar chilling. And people just walking down the middle of the street. It's closed to traffic, I believe. And
Okay.
big party street, and then you got Canal Street with they have a casino on it. It's a Caesar's
Mm.
casino now. Actually, they redid it. Um, so I may be doing that. But back to my point, Feast of San Gennaro. I want to go to that one day. Um,
Yes.
I believe it's in September every year in New York City. Yeah, I will have to like watch what I eat though because there's so much fucking food there. It's crazy. Might have been in an
Um.
episode of Sopranos. I don't know. Let me look that up while you're saying
Oh, maybe it
something.
was because like, was it the one in? No, no, that's a different one. That's a different one. I don't think it was then. But yeah, I know what you're talking about now because I remember that part in Godfather too.
Yeah,
Uh, it's so Little Italy's just one road now. Like, what's up with
pretty
that?
much. Yeah. So they even
I didn't know that.
there is even a scene in The Sopranos where I forget who it is. I don't know if it's Tony or somebody talking to Butch, the guy from New York, and they're walking
Hmm.
down a street in Little Italy, right? They walk too far, and when the scene ends, he looks around, and he's in Chinatown, and that's a little commentary on the size of Little Italy.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
oh, sorry,
Manhattan. That's where my mom is from.
really,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. She grew up in New York for uh, I forget exactly how many years before she moved to Puerto Rico. Uh, but that's how I know. That's how I learned English is from
That's
her.
awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, The Sopranos. One of the main characters is food. I will say, right? I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
Agree. I agree.
Carmela,
There's a lot of really cool things. Like every time I want to try something out, I think of The Sopranos.
right? So Carmela has great style. She has the mob wife aesthetic. So that's
We're
come back
getting
in
here.
recent times. Um, I sometimes I want to do some animal print stuff. Like I have this cardigan with like a tiger pattern on it that I have, but sometimes it feels too gaudy, and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull it off. But
You gotta try it once at least.
maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't even do my nails. I just paint them, so they're
Oh,
short. I'm not gonna do the fucking
you don't want long
long.
nails?
No, I can't do it.
Okay.
It'll be too annoying and trying to type and play guitar and shit because I do all
Oh,
of
that's
those
pretty
things.
okay.
Ugh,
Got a lot of hand activities.
I do. And that sounded wrong. Do a lot of hand activities, beating the meat, fingering my
Is
wife,
that why you don't want long nails?
fingering my wife.
Somebody
I don't know. I'm
listen.
just saying.
Some
I'm
people
just
pull it
saying
off.
shit.
I don't know. Maybe you just gotta learn from them.
Yeah, I feel like
It's possible.
I feel like I've been talking a lot. What's something else in The Sopranos that we have not touched
Sopranos,
upon?
Carmela. I love her leopard print. I think there's some really good episodes with like her fashion. I remember hearing some interviews with like the fashion designer and coordinator, and how she like would tour stores around New Jersey.
Okay, I think I've
Be
heard of
like,
this.
how
Yeah,
do
to
I
for doing the costuming on the show to
Yeah,
depict
because
the
she was like,
Jersey woman.
I don't know what Carmela would wear, so she would like
Right.
go around
That's awesome.
and like people watch like at clothing stores, women's
Yeah,
clothing, and
that's
be like, okay,
awesome.
that's her, right there, and then
That's
the
awesome. I
rest is
love it.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. um, trying to think what else.
Oh,
Oh,
let's see. I have
speaking of fashion. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go first.
Oh, I was just gonna quick little aside. That's where I got the idea to wear. So I have
A
a
gold
gold
watch.
watch and I have a gold bracelet here because I got that. I got that from The Sopranos.
I like all this this like you got the Final Fantasy anime goth thing going, and then you
Yeah.
just have a gold watch.
Oh yeah. No, I do. I also have a gold necklace here, but
Oh,
I wear this shit every day. Um, yeah. Because like if you
but
pay
yeah.
attention in Sopranos, one of the things they always do, they always have a gold watch and you always have a gold bracelet on the other
Yep.
arm. So
Yep.
that's something I got into for my style that I lifted from them. But what were
There
you
you go.
saying? I feel like you were.
Oh, I guess I was gonna like uh talk about more things like
Mhm.
I was wondering what you thought of season 5 with Steve Buscemi.
It was all right.
Not your favorite?
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to do a rewatch, but
Oh, that's right. You're not there yet in your
yeah, but
rewatch.
here's the thing. Like, I feel like his character was kind of like Steve Buscemi's character in season 5 was like, I'm gonna literally do everything I can for everyone to hate me and to make New York angry, and then Tony is gonna kill me. That's basically that was basically Tony Blundetto's character.
Tony Blundetto, Tony B.
Yeah. He's gonna open a massage parlor or something and then like go crazy and get back into the life. And
Right.
then
I guess like I did like his because again I'm a fan of the struggle.
the
I
struggle.
just like a character who's like trying to be legit but just can't. You
Yeah.
know, I did
That's
appreciate that.
Oh, speaking of food, and I'm gonna get back to what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
We're doing some
Speaking
ADHD
of
today.
food,
It's fine.
we were not speaking of food, but go ahead.
Well, first of all, shut up. So- no, like Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm excited for a 3-day work
Oh,
week. Woo!
yo,
That's it.
I had a Friendsgiving yesterday
Did you?
actually.
How was that? That sounds
Yeah,
wonderful.
it was actually wonderful.
Oh,
Everybody
that's
brought. I
sweet.
even made food for like. I rarely cook. I cooked for this.
I want you
Uh,
and Margot to come over so I can cook for you.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
And likewise, if you come over, we'll take you out and
Okay.
cook for you as well.
It sounds
You
lovely.
can rate all of the Italian places here,
Okay, I would
and
love to,
golf
honestly.
courses.
I'm excited for everything. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
love that.
we had a little friendsgiving get together yesterday. I think it was great.
Did you make a
Um,
traditional Thanksgiving dinner? Was that what it was comprised of?
no, we just brought in things that we thought were yummy. Like
Mm-hmm.
Margot made mac and cheese, and some of the cornbread I'm eating right now was her
Okay.
actually from
I mean, those
yesterday.
are traditional Thanksgiving
Yeah.
sides, I would say. I will always find a way to like insert baked ziti into
Love baked ziti. Oh my
Thanksgiving
god.
or a Christmas dinner. That and that comes from my Italian New York upbringing, or a
Hmm.
lasagna or something to that effect.
I
Those
love baked
I
ziti.
view those as holiday foods.
I'm gonna make Margot make some.
Yeah,
Yeah, I fucking love it.
yeah.
That's another one that Sopranos got me into was baked ziti.
Big
Uh,
ZD, you cannot go wrong. It is so easy, and you can do so many
mhm.
variations with it. Like
Oh yeah.
you can add meatball to it. You could add sausage. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
Ooh.
very versatile.
I love it with cheese.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Some
that's
cheese.
the basis. You start with cheese,
Mm.
but you
All it
could
needs
add
is
shit.
cheese.
Oh,
I'm
stop
good
it!
with
Don't
that.
You could do whatever you want, and it's great.
But yeah,
Have you ever
I
had?
actually did some
Yeah,
real quick. I did
go ahead.
some. I tried to bring some traditional Puerto Rican like appetizers. I did this thing called, which I'm proud of myself. I actually made these. They're called sorullos. They're like little corn sticks.
Okay.
It's just it's literally rolled up cornmeal
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of salt, sugar, and butter. And
Sounds
for some
great.
reason, that's enough. It's like it's just really good, especially when
I'll
they
I'll have
just
to
come
try
out.
it.
Yeah, they're very easy to make. You just like mix cornmeal with what like the things I said,
Yeah.
make a ball, and then scoop out little bits and roll them into sticks,
That
fry them,
sounds amazing. Fry.
and they come out. They're like crunchy outside, gooey inside. Oh, if you add cheese on them, it's even
Yeah.
better. Uh, I made some of those, and that was great.
Yeah, make some for me sometime.
All
I'll
right, I
eat them.
will. Now that
But
I know how to do it.
I made chicken cutlets for the first time recently.
Chicken cutlets.
Yeah,
Good.
they were good. I've never made them before.
Oh, okay.
I've only had them when other people made them or from restaurants, but
Hmm.
I made them myself and I was
Nice.
yeah, they came out good. Made some chicken parm, that was good.
Oh, I love chicken parm. See, the
Yeah.
chicken parm I love.
Yes. So that was
Oh
good.
God, veal parm. Even though it's like, even though it makes me
I don't do
question my
veal.
morals.
No, I don't do veal.
Yeah, I
I can't. Sorry.
why are they delicious? I mean, I
Why are
feel
the
like
baby
shit when
cows
I eat it,
delicious?
but god damn it, like it tastes so good.
Oof, I can't do it. I need to know that the cow reached adulthood before I can eat
True.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And I did
need to
stop
know it
eating it
had a
after a
decent
while.
childhood.
Like I'll admit, I stopped eating it after a while because it was
I
getting to
can't.
me.
I
But
know, and it's a big Italian dish, veal. I
I
can't do it.
know. But the first
Never
time I
had it,
had it,
never
I'm like, it's
will.
not fair. This is delicious.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. I know it's unfortunate, but eggplant parm good.
Yes. Well, no, eggplant parm. I don't like eggplant. Fuck
That's
eggplant.
blasphemy.
You heard it here.
You
Fuck
heard it here.
eggplants. Fuck
Fuck it.
eggplants, squash. Uh,
Squash.
fucking hate squash. Fucking hate zucchini. Except fried zucchini's pretty good. I'll
Did
give
you
it
ever
that.
have the fried zucchini flowers, which was on an episode of Sopranos?
Oh, actually, now I need to try
Uh,
them.
Silvio, I believe, mentioned it. It was at Vesuvio. They had fried zucchini flowers, which I think is also another Italian dish.
I'll try those out next
Yeah.
time.
I don't know where they have them. It's probably a very specialty type of thing, but, you know, might be something interesting. I don't know.
Okay.
Speaking of food and arty and all that, do you remember the episode where this was in season 4, I think, because it's fresh on my memory, when he gets into this kind of fucking Ponzi scheme with this French guy or
Oh
something,
yeah,
and he's
the guy that
like
tries to.
trying to convince him that this new brandy or something
Yeah,
is the new kind of drink that's gonna sweep Europe or something, and he makes
he
Artie
tricks him
and
into investing. Yeah.
yeah, and then he takes the money, and then he tries to. Tony's like, "Oh, go take care of it," and then Artie's like, "Fuck, I have to show up and beat this guy up," and then Artie gets his fucking ass kicked. I'm
Hmm.
like, that's so sad.
I know. Didn't he borrow money from Tony, and that's why he
He
was
did
like
borrow money
stressing
from
out about it?
Tony, and
Yeah,
then
so he basically got
Artie
into a
tries
loan
to
shark situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
Artie tries to commit suicide, but then Tony. It's actually one of the great scenes where Tony just doesn't care about the money and just wants Artie to not die. You know,
Yeah,
he.
they
It's
are
one of the.
childhood friends, so he has a
It,
soft spot for
it's one
him.
of the scenes where you're like, wow, Tony actually has a human side and he cares about his friend.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he basically was like, forget about the money. I just don't want you to die. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even though it's a shitty situation to be in to have to owe a
right.
debt to a gangster, like regardless of your history with them.
One of the
Charmaine
nicest,
rightfully gets upset. Like, why
yes,
would you take money from Tony Soprano? Why would you
yeah,
do that? Uh,
right. And there was one of the good things Ralph did was he didn't lend money to Artie.
but
Remember that?
now, to be fair, Ralph knew he was not getting that money back, and that's why he didn't lend it to
I
him.
guess so, but he said to him he doesn't want to like basically have to rough him up if he doesn't have his money, you know. But I guess yeah, maybe there was some kind of financial foresight that Ralph had.
Yeah, I saw it less as like anything noble and more like this is gonna be a pain in my
Yeah, I
ass and
guess
I don't
so.
want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Uh, because that's Ralphie. That's
Yeah.
just. I feel like the only time I felt that Ralphie had like two dimensions was when his kid got like shot with
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
arrow,
Yeah.
which was okay. Like The Sopranos does have like a dark humor aspect to it, and even though this was like a sad and tragic situation, the
Sure.
way it happened and the way they film it, where it's like, okay, okay, let's play with a bow and arrow, and I'll hold the target,
Right.
and
Fucking
you're just like,
crazy.
well, of course it went bad.
Yeah, and the thing is, yeah, it humanized Ralph a little bit, but then he quickly got over that and fucking killed a horse and a woman. So,
Not in
yeah,
that order, but yeah.
and hit some guy in the big guy in the face with a chain that he was swinging around when he was like
Oh
quoting
yeah, like
Gladiator and
just
shit.
joking, and he like almost took his eye out.
And he's
And it just
laughing
the
and
vibe was like off after that, and everyone's
and,
like, you
and,
know what, fuck
and then
Ralphie,
he
he kind of sucks.
disrespected Tony too. I
Yeah,
think it might have been in season 3 when he was Tony asked him to have a drink and he's like, another time, Anthony. It's like, fuck you, Ralph. Really? You're gonna
seriously.
say that to Tony Soprano? You're gonna say another time for a drink? Really?
Okay,
Also, fuck Jackie Jr.
Jackie Jr. Oh
Piece of
yeah, he was
shit.
terrible, and
Dumb
like
piece of shit.
he
He's like, hey, Tony, I'm Jackie Jr. That's what
he
he
had the
sounds like.
potential to be because again,
Hey,
see, I do
Tony.
like the tragic character, but Jackie Jr. was just like really
Makes you
frustrating
hate him.
because
He
yeah,
really
like
works
he
to make
did
you hate him.
Tony does everything he can to give him like the opportunity to get out of the life, but Jackie Jr. is just like obsessed with being like
Oh,
the successor to his dad, you know, like
yeah.
and
Great scene. Great scene I got to tell you about when speaking to what you just said. Uh, Jackie Jr. makes a shitload of stupid decisions.
oh yeah, over and over.
There's the one scene where they're in the pizza place and he roughs up, I think it was Jackie or his friend. They rough up this dude that's buying pizza, right?
Yeah,
And you know who that guy was? That was Steve Grillo from Howard Stern.
wait, really?
Yeah. Watch the scene again. It's Steve
Oh my
Grillo.
god. Okay, I will. There's a
It,
lot of actually little cameos of soon-to-be actors or like unknown or relatively known but not as famous at the time
yeah.
actors. Like there's Michael B. Jordan makes an appearance in
Oh,
one of Tony's
wow.
flashbacks.
That's
Lady
awesome.
Gaga was in the
She
scene
was
with
in the scene with AJ at the pool.
yeah with AJ when they're throwing the
Yeah.
trophies around. Paul Dano
I remember
is
Paul
like
Dano
one
when
of
they
AJ's friends for like
that
two
was season
episodes.
4. That
Yeah.
when they were all like praising the Godfather lifestyle and like, oh,
Yeah.
AJ's in the mob. Oh, it's Satriali's. It's a front. Oh, and they like pull up in front of the place and they're like looking at Satriali's and they're trying to find the Bing and AJ's stupid and doesn't know where the fucking Bing is.
Uh, then oh my god, I forgot his name. I'm gonna feel terrible because he passed away. The no wait, did he? The
Who?
actor who played the Jigsaw in the Saw movies.
Oh, he
Um,
was
he's this the
the
drill
guy
sergeant.
at
The
the military academy.
yeah yeah, and he's doing his thing where he's just like very cold, very
Yeah. He's
quiet.
like, we believe in discipline here.
Yeah.
We believe in discipline here. I just gave
uh,
you the blueprint for a mapped out life.
I'm trying to think of others,
AJ's
but
like,
those are all just stand out.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty great. And he's like, AJ's like trying to use Meadows' apartment to bang his girlfriend. There's that
God,
part. So fucking weird. And Jackie Jr., yeah, Vito just fucking pops him in the back of the head
oh my
when he's
God, and one of the more like again a tragic scene because like he has to stay in a
I dropped out of Rutgers.
he,
Tony, I dropped out of Rutgers. That's what Jackie Jr. sounds like.
so it's a tragic scene even though like I also don't like Jackie Jr. at
Mm-hmm.
all because like he is the architect of his own suffering.
Sure.
Uh, the the fact like he had to stay in like a poor neighborhood with like this
Yes.
like
When he's
less
hiding
well
out.
off Yeah,
After,
and
so this, a little bit of context for that. This is after he tries to rob the card game, one of Tony's card games, and ends up killing a
oh,
couple of guys.
oh my god, I love that scene because like
Yeah.
they're hyping themselves up like this is what they did when they were kids, and this is kind of what like propelled them into their status right now. And fucking who was it? Ralphie goaded him into doing it.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you know, it was no big deal. We had a
We
good
used to
time, but
fuck
hey,
around, me and your
yeah,
dad. Oh, also, here's how you make spaghetti.
here's how you make spaghetti. Oh, also here's a gun. And basically goad him into trying to like rob this card game.
Sure.
When they're masked, so nobody knows who they are. They point a gun at a guy. The guy turns around. It's Christopher Moltisanti, and they're like, "We fucked up. Like this
And then
is."
they shoot one of the guys, one of the
Yeah, they shoot.
accomplices in the
Who was
street.
like trying to talk them down,
Oh
like
yeah, they just
trying to be
fucking
very
blow his
diplomatic,
head off.
but they just fucking kill him. And then that's when shit goes south. I think Furio's there too, uh, and then they chase after them, and
Right.
one of them gets killed, like cold blooded. Like
Yep.
Christopher like the classic walks up, shoots him on the ground. Um, and then Jackie's like in fucking trouble, so he has to hide in this poor black neighborhood. And then these people are like being nice to him and like trying to, he's not turning his life around or anything.
No.
But like later, when they basically set him up to get shot by Vito, the entire time the narrative is like, oh, he was hanging out in a black neighborhood, and they were like, they killed him
Oh,
because
was
he was
it?
dealing drugs over
Yes.
there.
He was
They're,
doing
like,
a
being
drug deal in a
horribly
black
racist.
neighborhood.
Yeah, they're just being horribly racist about the whole thing, even though the story actually went, no, this very same gang he was in got him killed.
Sure.
Like that's what happened, and they just can't talk about that. So it's fucked up. It's like, even though I hate him, what happened to him is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, no, it was.
And then
pretty
Meadow
fucked
has
up.
to like live with that for the rest of her
Yeah.
life.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And then
that scene.
yeah. Yeah. So, in the later seasons, I mean, we have to talk about the ending of the show, right? We have to talk
I
about
want
the
to talk
ending.
about the ending, and I want to talk about the Many Saints of Newark.
Okay, so that, yeah, I mean, how did you interpret the ending? I mean, everyone says that Tony dies, and he seemingly made peace with New York at the end, right? They took out Phil Leotardo. They made peace with
God,
New York with their little.
Phil's death was one of the best.
Yeah, he gets shot and gets a Yoshikage Kira to the head. For those who don't know, gets his head run over by a car.
Oh my God. With his family in it, it's
Yeah.
fucked up, but I don't know.
Pretty
I don't know
awesome.
why. I
Very
thought it was just
deserving.
hilarious.
Very deserving.
I guess that's what it is. It's like, I don't know. You died a punk death, even though you were like one of the biggest badasses.
Yeah, it's exactly what he deserves.
Uh,
Grilled cheese
but-
off the radiator. I eat grilled cheese off the radiator.
so the ending
Also,
for me.
Gabagool.
Gabagool. Oh, that's another thing. Like, I didn't know what Gabagool was until I watched this show.
Yeah, I didn't really either. It's funny.
It's just meat.
Go.
There it is. It's just meat. It's what is it? Capicola?
Gabagool.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah, it's a type of pork, and it's
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe
Weird,
it.
right?
What?
It's very nice.
You know
I've had
what's
it
what's
before.
also good? A little bit of prosciutto on a sandwich.
Oh, I love it. Yes,
Prosciutto's
prosciutto.
good.
Yo, I put prosciutto on anything. Like
Yeah.
prosciutto pizza, prosciutto salad.
It's good
Prosciutto
on a lot
sandwich.
of stuff. And I'm
That
not
shit is
big on pork. I try to. I don't fucking know.
I love
But
pork. I'm sorry. It's in my
prosciutto's
DNA.
good.
I love pork.
Yeah, but go on. We were talking about.
Yeah, so the ending for me, I think it's brilliant, and
Yeah.
not for the reasons I've heard
not
people
the
say.
cut to black, not the guy in the jacket,
Well, looking around being sketchy.
the members only jacket, and he walks into the bathroom and allegedly pulls a Michael Corleone and comes out and shoots Tony and his family.
See, that's like none of that matters to me. Like, and I guess that's But that is what I like about the ending, is that it's very open for
Yeah.
interpretation, because
Cut to
there
black.
is no ending that would have been epic enough to match what was in
Sure.
people's imagination at the time.
Well, if you think about
'Cause-
it, they already accomplished that. They had Tony take out New York. He becomes the undisputed king of New Jersey. And, all the major players die, right?
yeah, I
Silvio
think.
gets fucking fucked up.
Oh God, yeah, we don't even know if he makes it. Uh,
Yeah.
the only one who kind of makes it is Paulie, but at the time he's going through some existential shit because he just found out his whole life was a lie.
Oh, yeah, where his mom was like a nun that adopted him or something.
His mom was a nun who he thought was his aunt, and his
Who just
mom
has
was
no.
actually his aunt.
Right. So
Because
he kind of had a little fucked up crisis.
yeah, he had an identity crisis and he had a cancer scare, and it was just like all this shit was getting to him.
Yeah.
Uh, so he was kind of out of the picture at the right time when like Phil Leotardo ordered a hit on like half of everybody in Tony's family. So like,
Yeah.
so in my opinion though, the show was setting up a lot of moments where Tony could have ratted.
Sure.
And I think, in my opinion, that's what would have happened. I think
You
eventually,
think he went into witness protection?
I think he would have eventually gave up because of
Do you ever,
like too much was going on. His family was starting to get in the line of
Right.
fire. I think it was starting to like really get to him that
Sure.
Junior is just no longer even capable of leadership. Johnny
Yeah.
Sack is died from sickness. So I think the show is kind of setting up like there is no good fate for Tony. Like no matter
Right,
what
and
happens.
he said that much too to Dr. Melfi. He said it's like, I think this was season 4 again because like I just did a rewatch. He said that there's only two ways that this can end for someone like me. You're either in jail or you're dead.
Yeah, and that kind of is there's three outcomes that the show presents for you,
Jail,
and
dead,
the ending
or
kind of lets you
witness
pick.
protection.
Yeah, like you die, you go to jail, or you go into witness protection. Like
And
you rat, you basically rat, which is almost a fate worse than death if you're a
Yeah.
mobster.
It is because Christopher illustrates that where he was going to flip and he was going to go into witness protection with Adriana, but he sees this family that's like just scraping along at the gas station, and he's like, "Fuck, I'm not going down
yeah,
like that," and that influences him
Yep.
to tell Tony, and then that results in Adriana's death.
Yeah. Also one of my favorite moments because like it does demonstrate like Christopher's biggest flaw is that he's doing this for respect, for power,
Right.
for all the good things in life that his dad couldn't give him.
Yeah.
And
True.
it kind of influences him to go down this path. Like you could argue that if he did just run away with Adriana, things might have gotten better for him
Might have,
eventually.
yeah.
Because we all know what happened anyway. So I
So-
think
Right.
I think Tony's kind of in the same boat, and the problem is the show can't give you an ending because it won't. No one will be satisfied, even if we did have like a true ending,
Right.
and they just show. Like even Tony going down in a blaze of glory would just not have been enough for people.
No,
I know
and
that's
it's
what everyone
cliche.
wanted, but I don't
it's,
think that would have
it's
been.
cliche. It's
It is. It's
Scarface.
cliche.
It's
Yeah.
it's been done a million times, and
Exactly.
I think Sopranos is all about just doing the unexpected, and that's what they did. And also I do feel they wrapped up a lot already to the point where it was yeah. So Many Saints of Newark. I watched it once.
What a movie.
Ray Liotta was in it. That was something.
Ray Liotta was in it twice. They played the twin card again, which is funny.
I don't even recall most of the movie. I just remember James Gandolfini's son playing Tony worked
Yeah,
really
Michael
well, and it was
Gandolfini.
awesome.
He had the vibe. He did a good job. I think
I heard they're bringing him back for a new series. It could be a rumor.
related to Sopranos or
Yeah, like he's gonna be Tony.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't.
that would be
I have
cool.
not
But
heard that.
anyway, so Many Saints of Newark.
Yeah,
What's
so
your verdict?
I watched this movie twice.
Okay.
Because again, I was showing Margot, and both times like the first time I just didn't understand. I was like,
It felt
really?
disjointed
Okay.
to me.
It was. Yeah. It should have been a mini series. It should have been like you know how
Sure.
X-Files came back and they did like an
Well,
actual
yeah,
season.
but
They didn't just
sure. I
do a
mean, if they
movie.
did that, they could have done more interesting, better paced things instead of
Yes.
trying to cram everything into one movie.
Yeah. Like a
So,
whole the movie was just like three. It wanted to focus on three characters, but it ended up focusing on neither of them. It was just like kind
and
of all over
then
the place.
one of the things they could have kept a secret is the fate of Christopher Moltisanti's father.
Yeah, Dickie.
But then they fucking show what happened to him.
It's
And
stupid.
it
It's
was
fucking
Junior, and it was
bullshit.
Junior who was in on the hit.
Yeah, just because he was like mad that he laughed at him or something. I can't even
I
remember.
don't
Like
know. I really
he made a
don't
joke
know.
about his head or his dick. I can't fucking
I
remember what it
know.
was.
It's
He
so
was being
weird.
petty as fuck, and he ordered a hit on Dickie. And I guess like the problem is it's the prequelitis issue. Like it's Star Wars Phantom Menace bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
well, we know this character, and
We
we
got to
need to
show
like
it. And not,
we got to tie
yeah.
everything in somehow, and it's got to be shocking. It's got to be like a reveal. Oh, the whole time the Sopranos have had it for the fucking
Yeah.
Moltisanti. And I'm like, this is dumb. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't like add anything. It just makes it like
A bit.
why? It
A
just
bit
makes
of
you
an.
question everything.
Yeah, agreed. It's a bit of an unnecessary film in many regards.
And
They're like, oh, we
but
want to show the
legitimately
Newark riots and shit. And, well, okay, like, come on.
which
Just
I guess it's cool because it's like, oh, it's like historically contextualized. Like it's
sure.
adding, it's putting, because and the flashbacks do reference the New York riots too in the show,
Yeah.
so that stuff makes sense.
I
But like,
really honestly don't remember much of the film.
it's I mean, it's just all over the place. Like the nicest thing I can say about it is that
Like,
it
I
does
would
want.
even say The Godfather Part 3 is better than that movie. I'm
Ooh,
gonna
I don't
throw
know if I would go
hands.
that far. I don't know if I
Oh,
would go that
come
far.
on. You really
Yeah.
don't think you don't like Sofia Coppola trying to bang her cousin and making gnocchi? And the
she's a-
Catholic Church being the villain,
oh my god. I think
right?
Sofia Coppola is a better director than she is an actor. I'm just gonna say that, and leave it there.
Agreed.
No, I don't think Godfather 3 was better than The Many Saints
Oh,
of
be
Newark.
quiet. Quiet, you.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, like, how the fuck is Many Saints of Newark better? I mean,
I mean,
how?
not by a
How?
lot.
I want to
I'm
know
talking
now.
about like
Now I want
I'm
to
talking
know.
about like I'm talking about like a single digit percentage maybe better, but still
Yeah.
better. I'm sorry.
But how? I don't even remember them. I could remember things about Godfather Part 3. I can't. All I remember is that, like, somebody killed their wife in the ocean or something, and Ray Liotta was in part of the movie.
Because like yeah, because
And,
Dickie
like,
was like banging the Italian chick that his dad brought over, which is weird.
right. I'm
And
like,
then he killed her for some reason because she said "fuck you," and
right.
every.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know. I think we're going to
But
have to do a Godfather Part 3 episode.
oh my god, no.
You were the one who suggested it. I'm pretty sure you did.
What have I done?
I don't know.
What have I done?
I feel
But
like if
I guess
we.
there are. I don't know. I I do like Dickie's struggle. Like he's got a bit of conflict. It's kind of interesting
Yeah.
how he's like in the shadow of his father, and in just kind of playing second banana to all these other characters and like getting fucked over by one thing or another. I don't know. I thought that was cool. I guess.
Yeah. I just honestly, I can't even have a conversation. I can't even have this conversation because I don't even fucking remember most of the movie. Like, I really can't.
There's some scenes where like Tony's dad is like he's kind of wait, Tony's dad didn't really do much either though.
Yeah, so I'm like, what are you talking about? That it's better than
Oh,
Godfather
no.
Part 3?
I don't, but it is though.
No, it's not. It's not
Like
even
I
like
feel things. Godfather 3 just
Al
made me
Pacino's in
cringe.
Godfather Part 3.
I know, but that doesn't mean it's good.
Yes, it does.
Al Pacino cannot fix a movie. Jack and Jill is proof of this. I'm
You
sorry.
can't name anything that's good
sorry.
about the Many Saints of Newark, though. You're sitting here trying to defend it, and yet you can't
I am
name.
struggling. Yes, I am struggling. Trying to defend it. Like Michael Gandolfini was good.
He was good, but he didn't do anything.
I actually
He
liked Ray Liotta when he was playing
sure.
the twin when he's in jail.
I
And
don't
he's kind of
remember,
the
but I'll
father
take.
figure that Dickie never had. Oh, and like Dickie trying to like redeem himself by like constantly going to him as though it's confessional. I thought that was a neat little parallel or
Yeah,
contrast to like the guilt of like what you're doing and how you don't really have anyone to talk to. Maybe he needs therapy. Ooh,
yeah.
foreshadowing. Uh, I, whatever. I'm
Okay,
done defending. I
we're at
can't
an
really.
impasse
I'm like
here on Many Saints
this
of
is like
Newark,
lukewarm defense of many Saints of Newark. I can't
and
really do
a
it.
strange comparison with The Godfather Part Three.
Yes, I don't
I
even know
think
how
because
this
they're both
happened.
extraneous stories we didn't need, but here we
True,
are.
yeah, like
Here we
they
are
didn't
with
need to
them,
happen. They didn't need
right?
to happen. Like
Right.
Godfather 3 kind of gives you closure, but at the same time not really. Like nobody asked for it. Uh
Yeah.
we didn't really even get to see like Michael Corleone in his prime. We just skipped to when he got old and that's it.
Well, we did see
Uh
him in his prime. I believe that was part two, right? Or
yeah,
was
in
that
part
just
2
his
you
ascent
do.
to power?
Yeah, I feel like part 2 is kind of, you know how like Return of the Jedi showed Luke as like a full Jedi, but
Yeah.
he's still learning. He's not quite
He didn't
there
have his
yet.
Jedi Academy. He wasn't training all
Yeah,
these
yeah. That's
Jedi.
that's how Godfather 2 felt. Like Michael Corleone was getting there. He was like showing the like he was testing the limits of his strength, and it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool to see. But it's not until the very very end when like we get like the full transformation. You know, like
Yeah. So this turned out to be our Thanksgiving Sopranos episode, which was a pleasant
yeah, I guess
surprise
so.
because we kind of came into this like not knowing what we wanted to do,
Yeah.
which was a
We'll
nice
call it the
surprise.
Sopranos episode. Let's just call it the Sopranos
Yes,
episode.
because it
We did it
is. It's the
somehow.
Thanksgiving Sopranos episode because a lot of food was talked about.
Oh God, yeah. And I'm gonna eat more now because like
Me too. I haven't even
I'm,
eaten. I had a fucking protein bar for breakfast.
I got
Um,
leftovers in the fridge, and then I'm gonna see my dad later in the week. So
Yay.
yeah, we're gonna get
Awesome.
some more food.
Yes, and we have not found the golden dongle yet.
No, it's
The
not.
golden dongle was not in New Jersey.
It's not in New Jersey. It's not even in where does Godfather 3 take place? I don't know.
I don't know, honestly. I just know there's one part where they're in the Vatican, maybe. Right? That's where they are? I don't know.
No,
They're
I
in
don't even
Italy or
remember.
some shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was our episode on The Sopranos and
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
we
So
did it.
happy Thanksgiving all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And to all a good night. And we will see y'all in our next Christmas edition. We don't know what that'll be, but
I know.
I'm sure
Let's
it'll.
not.
I've got some ideas on that.
Yes, yes. We shall plan out this a little more subtly and not just
It's gonna be
blurt
Eyes
out what
Wide
we're gonna
Shut.
do and
It's
then
gonna be Eyes Wide Shut.
oh shit, Eyes Wide Shut.
It's
All
gonna be
right,
Eyes
fine.
Wide Shut.
It is a Christmas movie.
And The Godfather.
Now hold up.
I feel like everyone's done The Godfather, though. Everyone's
I
talked
know,
about
but
The
it is
Godfather.
good. Like
Well,
this is a
because
good
it's fucking
movie.
amazing.
Yeah, one
So,
and two, like they go so well together.
yeah. But Eyes Wide Shut, I feel like we both have an affinity for that movie. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right.
All right. So, thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.